Black.
There's no accent you can sell me. You're cold and ivory, you know. I'm a selfish nigga. The crown is heavy. I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. I don't like you popping shit at Pharrell for him. I inherit the beef. You're
Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 877. I'm your host. Don't adjust your internet television dials. That's right. The red beanie's gone. I'm in my heel era. I'm wearing a black beanie now.
Oh, it's Hollywood Jan.
A black beanie. That's how somber the mood is. That's how I feel inside. And speaking of how I feel inside, he's feeling better today on the outside and maybe the inside. Jeff Grubb.
Yeah, I'm feeling much better. Although I'm like, I need a haircut, but I'm too lazy to go do it. I think I'm starting to look a little bit serial killer-ish.
Go to the airport.
Yeah, I need to go to the airport and get an haircut. That's the only way I can get out of this.
Bravo.
Yeah.
The master of haircuts and airports and other associated stores and kiosks at the airport, Dan Reichert.
I don't know anything about haircuts anymore. I get beard cuts from a haircut lady.
Well, there you go. That's still cutting hair.
I was going to say why, but you know what? I saw a picture of you a while back with a very kind of trimmed up beard. Well, a much more trimmed up beard than you have now. And I think your beard looks really good most of the time. So clearly you're doing something right. Yeah.
I go to a lady that really keeps it in, cleaned up.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
It's good work.
Does she approach it with scissors or like some shears?
She does a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
She takes the little razor stuff here and everything. She does scissors to kind of the spot the stray hairs and stuff like that. Yeah, she's good. You go to like a sports clips or something, they're just gonna give you the buzzer and just bram, 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 bram. No, I go to a lady that does it good.
Speaking about buzzers, he's the buzzer beater, the pog slammer, the bad boy of games media, Mike Minotti.
I jacked off in a rainforest cafe. Oh, he's been waiting for that one all weekend. Let the record show that I jacked off in a rainforest cafe. And I said, I stopped saying that. Damn, he got me. What can I say? He fucking got me. Damn. I'm just gonna have to keep trying to live my life after that. I also wanted to talk about Dan's beard. I jacked off in a rainforest cafe.
Wow, I thought I witnessed the assassination of someone on TV on Sunday, but no, it happened today on Tuesday as well.
I'm gonna be playing that at the Super Bowl halftime next year.
Let's a record show.
Dan, I had a question about your beard.
Yes, Mike. What's that?
Does it I know they work on it, but does it naturally kind of get that straight on itself? Because when my beard gets too long, it just curls to this one side like crazy, and it's awful, and it looks terrible, and I can't straighten out myself at all.
You got to get one of those boars, thistle brushes and stuff like that. You got to use oils. You got to really just go to town on it quite a bit.
God, that sounds like a lot of work.
Variety of things in the shower. Yeah, but when I don't have hair on top of my head, it's like, well, I don't have any hair work to do, so I can do some beard stuff.
See, I feel like I should feel the same way, but I'm still pretty lazy about it.
Mm-hmm. Mike,
and I'm like, well, I could just trim it, and then I don't have to worry about it as much.
What if you just grow it out and you braid it?
No. I'm sorry not to yes and that, but no.
Nah, we knew you wouldn't.
I don't want to do that. I'm not a fuddy-duddy, but I don't want to braid my beard.
I like if I go a little bit with what?
Wait, I'm sorry. I noticed how you were about to push the button, then you realized that I was telegraphing it too much, and you didn't want to push the fuddy-duddy button.
You read me correctly. Yes, that's exactly what happened there. Yes. Yeah, I'm at the point now where it's like I haven't shaved my head in like a better part of a week, so it starts kind of growing in. And every time it's like, well, I've already got a week in on this right now, and Bianca is fully in favor of me growing Heihachi hair. So it's like, how long would it take? I'm just trying to do the math here on Heihachi. But
Yeah,
I could do it, and like my wife is like, fuck yeah, you should do that. Yeah, so it's
Dan, could you wear like a hat until it goes full Heihachi?
I mean, if you see me suddenly start wearing hats on podcasts, you know what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the awkward pre-Heihachi hair, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's going to
happened
take
to
a
us all.
while for
Yeah.
Heihachi, though.
You
yeah.
get Heihachi, I'll get season 1 Frasier, and we'll both have our
Okay.
fun ball.
And you
looks.
could be a bearded Larry David for Halloween this year.
Bearded Larry David. That'd be
That just
fucked up.
won't-
I can't picture him with that.
That won't read as Larry David. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
For
it'll
me,
be-
it will.
He did that one movie on HBO, like in 2015 or 2016, where was he like a tech executive and he had a beard and like long white hair? No, that was a Scientology documentary. There was some. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
No.
It was
I
fine.
remember the crypto commercial he did where he dressed up as a bunch of different people, and he had a beard in that one.
That's right. That was the Super Bowl year of all the crypto commercials.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
haha,
Right.
Larry David's being skeptical about even crypto, even though it's obviously going to be huge.
Yeah, it's like
What an
Clear
idiot.
History. Clear History is the name of that thing. Yeah, this year the Super Bowl was all AI stuff. You got your breakdance and deepfake Martha Stewart's. You got Super Bowl commercials. I don't know if they were ever good. I mean, people used to be excited about them, but they all suck ass now. It's all just we threw
I'm
celebrities
always-
into a thing, and yeah.
I'm always so skeptical to be like, Super Bowl commercials are bad now. Because one, they're commercials. And like, yeah, of course I liked those more when I was younger. But still, it feels like there are some years that are slightly better than others.
Yeah,
These were bad.
Nikki and I, along with Alyssa Mercante, were watching the Super Bowl at a bar, and it was kind of hard to hear because there were a bunch of people and the TVs were outside. So every commercial, we were playing a guessing game of like, okay, what are they advertising? And then there was one commercial where they were just showing pictures of people super depressed and helping each other out.
That's the Jesus stuff.
Yeah,
And it was the Jesus.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
that was the seal as a seal commercial, is what you're thinking of.
Oh,
We missed
right.
that.
Oh, okay.
That's the he gets us seal
he
as
gets
the
us
seal.
the seal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking about Super Bowl commercials, how'd you gents find the Super Bowl, the big game, as folks say?
Blah.
Seemed
Yeah.
like it'd be a bad game for anyone to watch, just on account of it being a bad football game. But also, when you're from Kansas City, it's probably especially just like not that I'm like, I watch one game a year and it's the Super Bowl and it's like
You're a real
not super
Kelce head.
Yeah, not super invested. But of course, I'm rooting for the Chiefs being from Kansas City. But I also understand why it's like I remember in the 2000s fucking hating the Patriots, and so it's like, I totally understand why everybody would root against the Chiefs. So yeah.
What's wrong with Tom Brady right now? Every time I see Tom Brady on camera, there's something off about
Too
him.
much plastic surgery.
No way.
I mean,
A rich
not
white
enough
guy
plastic
getting
surgery.
older, getting plastic surgery.
Yep.
Do you even hear yourself?
Well, he should be able to afford the good stuff, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you
Can
know,
only be so good. Can only be so
How
good.
old is he?
I don't know, not
50?
He's like 45.
He's probably not even that old.
No.
Probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
He's insecure because he doesn't have football anymore.
It
Yep.
seems like all he has and has ever had is football.
Yeah, that's
He's
all he
40,
knows.
47. Okay. So
He
yeah.
doesn't
Right.
want to spend time with his actual family. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike his old coach, he doesn't have some bizarrely underage girl. Not underage, but much
But way
lower
too young
age
girlfriend,
girl.
yeah.
Saw
way
that. That was shocking. I was like, oh, Bill Belichick brought his granddaughter. And so,
Yeah.
oh, no. Okay, that's
Oh,
not what
That's
happened
boy.
there.
weird.
It's
That's so
real insane.
oh,
Yeah.
boy.
It's like, what, it's like, it's bad when Leonardo DiCaprio does it for sure. It is somehow just grosser when Bill Belichick does it. It is.
It's just this grumpy old man who's never had a person. It was like DiCaprio. It's like,
Right.
DiCaprio. It's still weird, but like
Right.
Belichick does feel weirder.
Right, well, because you can imagine DiCaprio has some sort of riz. Not that I'm like apologizing for it, but it's like, okay, at least he probably
sort of
shows them a
riz.
good time and is nice to them, makes them laugh. Bill Belichick has never made anyone laugh in his entire life. That's
Oh.
actually what makes it really gross.
He is 72. She is 24.
That's not.
That makes my
It's like
tummy
when,
hurt.
you, when I hear the ages, my first thought is the one number divisible by the other? You know that's a problem.
It's just like.
Oh.
It's rough to be in your 30s and be like 24 is too young. And then there's a guy in his fucking 70s who's like, let's go. Let's
Yep.
party.
Ugh.
Anyway, I cackled when Kyle did his thing.
His name's Kendrick.
Oh.
It's really rude to intentionally call somebody by the wrong name, actually.
Was that a Reddit
All right.
comment as well?
Thanks,
No,
Mitch.
that's I've gotten that comment many times from people trying to be upset on my behalf for the Mitch thing. When I always tell them stop that. Boy, that was a very good halftime show. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, I was very confused when I saw what looked like PlayStation buttons at first.
Yes.
Because, like, wait, is he going to bring out Astrobot?
He should have.
He should have put a tree.
He was
The tree should have been there.
Yeah, crip
Astrobot-
walking. Yeah, oh my god, I would
Astrobot.
fucking die.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm imagining it, and I'm so happy right
It's
now.
really good.
Someone
Oh.
at PlayStation, please animate Astrobot crib walking. I need this.
Yeah, it was really funny watching it live, and then I know the broad beats of the feud and things like that. I mean, I've heard Not Like Us a million times, but I haven't heard the other songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just all the little things, I didn't realize Serena Williams was Drake's ex. That's fucking hilarious.
That's why she was there. I didn't know that.
The turn.
I mean, she's also
to-
from his neighborhood too, so that's.
And also,
him
she got a bunch of criticism for doing that in 2012 against Maria Sharapova. So it's several
Right.
callbacks on top of callbacks. But just, I know it's been talked about and tweeted a billion times, but that look to the camera when he says Drake's name, because everyone is wondering, is he going to, are certain lines going to be in there? And not only were they, he knew people were waiting for it. And oh
Yeah.
my God, it was fantastic.
It's all right.
Man, what a run. What a run. He won 5 Grammys and that whole theater full of peers saying the A minor line, and then to have a whole stadium a week later
Super
say it.
Bowl.
The
Oh
Super
yeah, well
Bowl.
Drake is going to be at the Four Nations hockey tournament, and he's gonna have his response, and the whole world will be watching because it's hockey.
Man.
Great.
Really
It's
good.
fantastic. I
really
think
good.
one of my favorite things to come out from the Super Bowl is, and I harbor no ill will towards Travis Kelce other than thinking he might be dumb as a doorknob sometimes.
Oh, he is. I
Sometimes.
mean, I think he'd admit it.
He might have a podcast about it.
Yeah.
Is just seeing him look so sad and upset after the game in his sequin shirt. And
Yeah.
I think that was
Yeah.
the only shirt he brought because he was so confident he was going to win.
That was the spitting image of me going home from the club any night I ever went to the club. So I get it.
Yeah.
Oh God, I just want to imagine that. I just want to imagine Grubb at the club. Oh,
Yeah.
it just rhymes off the tongue
Grubb
The
too.
club. Yep.
Grubb. Oh, speaking of Jeff Grubb, he gave me one of my new favorite moments ever this weekend. I don't know if you saw this. Jeff trying to play Grim Fandango over the weekend.
Oh, no.
And just playing
okay.
it, and he's streaming it, and at one point his chat is just like, "Oh, don't forget to save, Jeff." He's like, "Oh, yes, a good thing to do." So he opens the menu and beelines it for the new game option. Immediately clicks it. New games is playing. He's like, "What's going on?" Just lost a bunch of progress and had to catch up.
Yep. And then
Explain yourself.
Yeah, it was it was sandwiched between save game and then load game.
A lie.
and-
I remember it was save, load, new game. That was the order. So
Yeah.
save was the top choice.
Okay, yeah, okay, right, exactly. Okay, so I was actually remembering the thing from the Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'm looking at it. It also has new game right at the top. I think my thought process was, I'm not going to look at it, but clearly the first option can't be new game or save game. It should be down a little bit. That's going to be return or start game back up. That's always the first option in my head. So I'm like, okay, it'll be right here under load game. It'll be the next thing under that. So I just clicked it. Obviously, I just didn't read. Obviously, I just went and clicked the first thing.
I
my
think it's
friend
wild.
saw.
There's no confirm.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was. Yeah, I mean, listen.
I
it was
tell
the
you what, it
90s.
did just start that new game right up. You're right. You're right. Normally they would ask, and I'd be like, "Oh, leave me alone. Stop asking." Of course, I know what I want.
Of course,
But-
I want to start a new game.
I
Honestly,
enjoyed
I'm
that.
like, new game's not even going to be an option on the pause screen. That's a crazy thing too. That would be like,
Yeah.
no, you go back to the main menu if you want to start a new game. So I wasn't even concerned about that.
It's a valid point.
Maybe a
It's-
retry level, maybe a restart from checkpoint. I feel like
Yeah.
restart from checkpoint is a last 10 years thing.
Yeah. Yes. Dude, this
Um,
doesn't even have checkpoints. So yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all true, but it's still incredible just watching you just again faster than anybody's ever clicked a menu option. Just dart right for that new game.
I mean, clearly it was just me. This is not even really a problem with the game. Yeah.
My favorite Grubbism since the time I played Halo Infinite with you, and we
Yeah.
had the flag 2 feet away from the base where we needed to capture it at our base, and you grabbed the
respawned.
flag. You respawned, grabbed the flag, and started running it back toward the enemy base
I'm
because
like,
you
"I
got
got it,
turned
guys,
around.
don't worry."
You're like, "Guys, I got it." And we're like, "Jeff, what are you doing?"
No one
stopping
ever
me.
tells a story about how I had that clutch game where we beat Windows Central. Who were we playing? I can't remember. And but it's always hey, he picked up the flag and ran the wrong way. That's the only story. That
Yeah,
gets
that
told.
stuck. I don't even remember what the other thing.
Yeah,
you're
well, of course
talking
not.
about.
Yeah, I barely do.
Incredible.
Lovely, lovely. Any other thoughts over the weekend? How is everyone doing? They're feeling okay-ish?
You got a little bit sick, but feeling better now. Yeah, it was
sicky poo.
I'm just sticky poo.
Been doing the thing where it's, first week post my Blight Club assignment and just like blue skies ahead. Grubb has all the gimmicks. He's got the game. His wife looked at the game and laughed, which is always very good. Very, very excited for tomorrow on this website.
It's going to be good. You're not going to want to miss it just for the costume alone. We're doing it 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, since State of Play is happening at noon Pacific. Yeah. So we're moving it up a little bit so we don't kind of overcrowd the schedule there and run up against that. But please be excited.
Fantastic. What about we talk about some video games?
That's what that sound means.
I can't actually talk about the details of this game, whether or not I like it, but I can say that I played it because I was in Los Angeles yesterday with Timur, Lucy, and Nikki playing Split Fiction. And
did you like it?
Maybe I'll talk about that later. This motherfucker tried to get me.
Yeah.
Wow. Question.
Yes.
Should they have called it Spliction?
No.
Okay.
But
did you
try saying it? It's so fun.
No.
Spliction.
Spliction.
Did you get to talk to Joseph Ferris?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to do work.
Hell yeah. You looked like you were just having a good time. I'm like, that's a video game event right there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that aspect later. Nikki and I did draw a crowd with our gaming. But yeah, Tam and Lucy talked to Joseph Ferris. I believe they'll have something on GameSpot later this week. I will say that if you're gonna have a slider, right? This is not a commentary. This is not commentary on Split Fiction or Spliction, as the cool kids are calling it, or on EA. Yeah, please. If you put a tomato on a slider, you need that bad boy to be a thin tomato or just overall a small tomato. You can't have
a comically large tomato. Like if that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
What do we mean by slider in this instance? A sandwich.
Like yep, sandwich. Yep.
Yes.
Why did that take me so long to connect this stuff? I was like, what are we talking about? A slider? Like something to slide?
An intensity slider?
Like a shuffleboard?
I was thinking about video games. Slider? I was thinking about, like the gamma slider. I was like, what do you mean a tomato on a slider? What are you talking about?
Speaking about tomatoes are an old fruit, right? They grew these for a very long time. And
in Mexico.
In Mexico. Okay. Well, maybe
Jesus didn't have tomatoes, Dan.
Yeah, Jesus never had tomatoes.
Whatever.
But Jeff Grubb, did they have tomatoes in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2?
No, they did not, actually. It would have been just before they would have started getting tomatoes. Right? I guess maybe that would have been the earliest part of them beginning to trade it. Either way, that doesn't matter. You were just setting me up to talk about the video game. So I started this is where how I should frame this. I am playing a bunch of other stuff that frankly I would rather be playing, but we can't talk about it yet. I got a podcast, so I'm like, let me talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I said I would. I said I wanted to. I got a little bit of time. Really, what made it easiest was I was going to play it. I was going to stream it to my Steam Deck. I just assumed it wouldn't be good on the Steam Deck, but when I went to go do that, it gave me like, hey, here's the warning about how this game doesn't work. It's like, well, the graphic settings work great on the Steam Deck. It's just some of the text is small. I'm like, oh, really? So I loaded up on the Steam Deck, runs perfectly fine. Really good way to play it. So I've been playing it there. And I think my first impression is this is the big deal, huh? I really what that is like it's just kind of such a corn fest. It's really corny. It's cheesy constantly. Yeah. The characters, the way they interact with one another, pretty cheesy. The way that they tell their story, like it is, the guy is in a bad situation to start, and the camera zooms in on him, and he talks about how when he started this adventure, he just thought he was going to have some sex, and it would be it would be maybe a few other things would happen, and that would be the whole adventure. How did I end up here? And then it cuts to a flashback from that point to how he got in that situation. Like that's the level. That's
the Emperor's New Groove setup.
Yes, that's what they refer to it as in storytelling in the literary mediums. Yes. So, and then it just kind of doesn't stop doing that sort of thing. It's very gimmick heavy early on, and it's all storytelling gimmicks. So tons of flashbacks. You are going to get a segment there early on where it's like, okay, we're going to let you choose your character. The way they do that is it is a conversation, and people ask you a question about yourself, and you answer it. And it's like, based on those answers, you're going to be a certain kind of character. And really, I think it seems like it's going to be pretty open after that. You could still like, you don't have to just be someone who's good with the sword or someone who's good with a mace. You can try to do other stuff later, but they're just kind of setting you up early on. But it was like, okay, here's another gimmick. And then after that, it was a kind of a long cut scene setting up like your band and like the trouble they're going to get in, how things break down from there. And I still feel like I'm not playing the game, even though I am probably like 3 or 4 hours in now. And so it's like, oh, okay, I think I like that they are using a lot of these gimmicks and they are doing a lot of these cheesy, corny things in this setting, like historical medieval fiction. That's something you don't see a lot of. I think also the cutscenes, for as corny as they can be with the blocking and how the characters move around and interact with one another, they are high quality. And so it's a part of it's like almost like, hey, this is what a Final Fantasy game would feel like if it took place in this medieval setting. And so I like some of that because it feels very fresh, because we don't get a lot of these kinds of games in this setting. It's just not, I don't know, it feels like the indie game that it is in a lot of ways, where the way that you would expect a game to function, the way that you it doesn't. And that doesn't mean it's necessarily doing things in a bad way. It's just like, you go up to a character and you expect to have the context sensitive button tell you what you're going to do with the character, like over their head, somewhere easy to see. They bury that down in the corner. And so it's like, if you're not looking there, you might miss an option, and you got to just get used to that, because that's the way this game works. And again, I don't think that's necessarily some like really terrible way. This is just their own user experience that they've built for this game. But it's just like, oh, that's become so standard in other games. They would just hover that over a character's head so you never miss it. And I'm just so used to that I'm like, at a certain point, like, this just feels awkward. And there's a lot of examples like that, I think. But overall, I'm beginning to like get into it. I'm just not falling in love with it. It's definitely not a love at first sight kind of game like I'm having with some other stuff.
What's the game exactly? Is it just a Skyrim-like? Is it sort of more narrative-driven than that?
Yeah, so it's very narrative-driven for sure, in terms of setting up a lot of stuff that your character's supposed to do. But then like there is definitely like an openness to how you approach everything, and you can do your own thing, of course, and go explore and go hunting if you want. But I'm still like in the process of getting to the open area. Yeah. It really drags at the beginning.
Why was I under the assumption, or I might have just been getting Kingdom Come Deliverance mixed up with a different game, but there's a medieval game in a medieval setting where it's like multiplayer and you're swinging the
Chivalry.
Chivalry's good. Yeah.
Chivalry
Mordhau is what I was thinking of, but also
Mordhau,
that's another one of those. Yes.
Okay, so it's nothing like either of those games.
I mean, it looks like those games because it takes place in the same setting, but no. Those are like just open combat games where anything can happen and players are doing stupid stuff. This is honestly much more like Red Dead Redemption 2. Like,
I've seen that comparison several times.
Yes.
Which isn't a turnoff to me anymore.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that there's points on the spectrum of trying to be like Red Dead Redemption 2 that can clearly work. And Red Dead Redemption 2 clearly works for a lot of people. So I'm playing this and keeping an open mind. And it's like, I think they want me to play a certain way for the most part. And they definitely want me to like go and experience their big storytelling beats. That's the priority early on. I don't know if that changes later. But I think that this is mostly a game for people who are like, hey, I really want a game to like just tell me a story, give me a character that I can play as, not that I can like define on my own terms. Just give me something to put me in the shoes of an actor in a story, and I'll be happy. And it's doing that, and I think it's doing a pretty decent job at that. Again, it's just not like getting over the top for me personally.
Sure.
Also, real quick, Grubb, you alluded to other stuff that we can't talk about yet, but I did just check the embargo.
Hell yeah. Okay.
And
awesome.
as long as we say in a text caption or vocally that review access was provided to us by Xbox, we can mention that we will be talking about Avowed and when we were talking about it. So that'll be later this week. We will be able to talk about Avowed. The reason I don't have games on my thing this week is because I played 25 hours of Avowed over this weekend. So we will talk plenty about Avowed very soon.
Okay.
Yep. I think we're going to make that BCR, right? I threw that in there. I haven't had a
That
chance
makes
to
a lot
check.
of sense.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Lovely. Jeff Grubb, you are playing PC games, and there's something you definitely need to play PC games, and that is a graphics card. And you have here RTX 5080.
Yeah, so I figured I'd kind of like give my thoughts on this right now. It's complicated. The RTX 5080 is a very performant card. It does run games very well. I went from a 4090 to a 5080, so I don't actually see too much of like the raw gains because they're pretty close, and really the 5080 falls short in a lot of cases. So the reality is, it's like, okay, how do I talk about this card? Because there is the tendency in PC hardware realms to be like, okay, it's always a comparison game. How does this compare to the 4080? How does this compare to other similar cards of a similar price structure? And that works up to a point until you like, okay, how does that help people? Because if I say, well, just go get a 4080 or a 4090, you can't. They don't sell those cards anymore. They stopped making those because they knew they were going to be selling you the 5080. And so you have to either go get them used, which I don't recommend for graphics cards these days because you never know what they've been used for. A lot of times they have been used for mining, or they've been used very heavily, and you're not going to get the long-term support because you're buying an older card. So like, if this is the card you can get, does it do the job? It definitely does. And I think that you should be like willing to engage with like the DLSS 4 aspect of it. I think a lot of people just say, hey, what is the rendering performance before you turn on all those tricks? But who is going to play a game and buy $1,000 card and not turn on all the tricks? Everyone's going to do that. So the thing there is, if you already have a 40 series card that you're happy with for the most part, you just got the DLSS 4 update. And that does, if you're running a game that uses DLSS, this is the new version of DLSS. And all that's important there is they've changed the technology behind it so that it can basically it looks a lot better with ray tracing. It looks a lot better overall, really. And in some cases, it's a little bit less performant, but overall, it's like, hey, your graphics card got a major update and it's running very well. I would personally not rush out and get a 50 series card. They do seem like a stopgap. They're using the same architecture overall as the last generation, and the performances really do come from those tricks, and those tricks mostly work on older cards. The one thing that doesn't is multi-frame generation, and this is controversial. It's some people, I personally have used it a couple times, and I'm like, this is working for me. It makes the games look very smooth. I like it. But a lot of people can't stand it because it's fake frames, and they can feel the delay, and there's a slight delay. Now, the thing with multi-frame generation is the delay is not any worse than it was when they were just generating one frame, but there was a little bit of delay for that one frame. So multi-frame generation is just not a thing that I think most people are going to go out and buy a card for, and I think that's fair, also, especially when not every game is just going to work with it. Now, you can do some stuff in your games with special software to get it to work in a lot more games, but again, who's going to do that really? That's an enthusiast sort of thing. So overall, my thoughts are, hey, if you need a graphics card, I would probably, and you're in the range of spending like $1,000, which is where the 5080 is at. The 5080 is probably still the choice because your only other option is the AMD like 7900 XTX, I think it is. And this card's better than that. This is a better card than that. Unless you get a really good deal on that, I would probably just go with the 5080. Now, if you can wait, I probably would, because I would imagine a 5070 Super or a Ti down the line will be a lot more affordable and probably pretty close to the performance. They also could have a 5080 Ti or a 5080 Super, and that would be pretty good as well. I think that the next like half step that they do for this generation is probably where most people should jump on. Again, that said, if you need a card now, I think it's totally acceptable. It's more than acceptable. It's good.
Yeah, I have a computer that I bought it's on back ordered right now. But it is gonna be a 5080, and I felt good getting that. And then when the reviews start coming out, it's been a lot of negativity, and like part of me is like, oh, this is a lot of money to spend to kind of feel a little scared about the graphics card I got. But I have a 3070 Ti. I do want to upgrade, and it's kind of like, well, what else am I gonna upgrade to? I'm not gonna get a 40 series card right now, right? Like I said, I want to get a used one. So yeah, like I think I'm going to be completely fine. And I think a lot of the stuff people mention. It's not stuff I will ever notice on the screen, right?
A severe performance bump from where you're at right now. It will be much better. So yeah, and I think that's the case for most people. So overall, it's pretty good. I think DLSS 4 kind of being a different thing, separate from the card. I think that is actually a pretty good improvement. DLSS has been really good for a really long time, but there were some things with like the ray tracing reconstruction they were doing where that could add some fuzz, especially to any objects in like the middle distance. This really does make it look better than it ever has. They're using a completely different model than they used before. And I think it's even at a point where it is, I guess it's not brute forcing. This is a different thing, but it's brute forcing performance in games that I thought would probably never be able to get there, like Jedi Survivor. I was playing that as a test because that got an update to DLSS 4. And I was like, hey, this is a game that hitches a lot. I want to see if this like helps with that hitching. And it does for the most part. There are still times, especially when it's loading between cutscenes and it's about to load in the new level, the hitching still really hits. But there was a lot of just momentary frame hitches in the gameplay that was really distracting on PC, and I really disliked it. And you still notice it sometimes, but it's greatly diminished with DLSS 4. It's not a solve, but since I have it, I'm happy that it's there. It is not a reason to go out and buy a new card, though.
Got it. Well, from talking about the 50 series of graphics cards to a long-running series of games, Mike Minotti, you've been playing Tales of Graces F Remastered. Is this part of the greater Tales of franchise?
This is, in fact, in the Tales of franchise with Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Vesperia, and Tales of Kenzao.
Miles Tales per hour.
Yeah, JK. I like the Tales of games. I'm not some super fan. I've played a few of them. The ones I've beaten were Tales of Symphonia and Tales of Vesperia. Both those have gotten remasters on modern consoles. The Symphonia one's a bit poopy because it's based off an inferior PS2 version of the game instead of the GameCube version, so it doesn't run 60 frames per second. That Tales of Vesperia remaster, though, is fantastic. That was the game that first came out on Xbox 360. I think that's still the best Tales game that you could play, unless you want something super modern. Then you want to play Tales of Arise, which is the newest one. Tales of Graces was originally a Wii game that didn't get localized here until they made Tales of Graces F for the PlayStation 3. What do you all think the F stands for? Because I don't know.
Fantasy.
I think it's got to be for final. Fuck was a good guess, though.
Said fart.
Okay, I didn't hear that. I'm glad that you reiterated.
He stepped on my fart with his fuck.
Yeah.
I was fuck step farter.
Fuck step farter. That's what. That's all the F's are here.
Chumbawambas.
Yeah, it's like a suit riot,
Right. So I do like when a title has a game's been remastered twice that it has two things in the title now, like noting that Tales of Graces F Remastered Definitive Edition Game of the Year version.
Remastered.
Remastered.
Minto Chat says Fepalog, which I think that's probably right.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It makes me think of other words.
Remember Definitive Edition?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
All that shit.
I was happy that a new remastered of a Tales game came out. I was kind of curious because no one ever brings up Tales of Graces as like their favorite Tales game.
I was unaware of this in the Tales franchise.
Yeah, honestly, same.
Right.
Like,
And I think part,
I've seen.
Sure.
yeah, I think part of it is because, again, it was originally a Wii game that we only got it here kind of well after the fact when that PS3 version did drop. But I do hear people say nice things about the game. It is very pretty. It's got this kind of pastoral look to it that's pleasant. I think it's lighthearted even for Tales standards. And the one thing I see everyone says is that this is the most, if you really are into the power of friendship kind of JRPGs, this is one of those for you. And sometimes those do hit. But those kind of JRPGs can also be pretty tropey. And guess what happens in like the first 5 minutes of this game?
Do you lose your memory?
Well, no, but you find a character who has amnesia.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right. One of those. So
what I'm sorry to derail this, Mike, but like, what if it's a summer game fest or a game awards or an event we're all together and Dan has amnesia?
Wow, I would convince him that he loves JRPGs. Like, look, the first thing you have to understand about yourself is that you only really care about one kind of video game. And it's this. I'll show him.
Well,
Tales
I feel
of
like there would
Grace's
be-
F.
I
And
feel
the
like there might
hentai
be
of novels as well.
I think there might be like a 20-year paper trail of me saying everything but that if I wanted to do any research, though.
We'll
So-
keep you in a vacuum sealed bag. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll,
okay.
I'll tell you
We'll
that's
poke holes.
I'll tell you that's Chris,
Okay.
right? Remember that bit with your clone? That was
Bit?
Chris the whole time.
Bit?
Historical fact about
Yes,
Chris.
that's right. Thank you.
Right.
Protect the business, brother.
Yeah. But I always like the Tales games because to me it's the closest you get to having a bunch of action RPG elements. But still, when you ask me what the genre is, I'll say JRPG first. It still has a lot of those trappings, just in terms of the way the game looks and feels and plays, the way the menus are, the fact that you still kind of have these overworld areas, and when you start a battle, you go to a separate screen, all that kind of stuff. And once you get to a battle, it is that real-time combat.
Yeah.
The way this one works, you string moves together, and it's not just like, oh, mash a button to a combo, although it can be that. But if you use different direction inputs with that, you kind of have different strings, and each of those have different effects, and they start to cost more of this resource, which you lose as you fight. So you have to guard sometimes, and encourages you to play defensively to get that back. I'm like 5 hours in, so I'm sure there's a lot of depth I'm going to discover later in it. But so far, I am having a good time, even if, again, it's a little tropey.
Sure.
It's a little predictable for a kind of PS3 era JRPG. Sure did have a thing going on with them a bit, where I think they did start to kind of fall for some of the worst tropes, and they got, when we say something's very anime, and that does sound stupid because anime is everything. I think people know what we mean sometimes by that, right? And this can be that, just the way the characters look, the way that they emote. Again, it's like the same kind of archetypes that you maybe have seen before.
Mhm.
But still, there's enough positives here that I'm excited to play some more of it. It looks very pretty. I like that pastoral kind of cutesy vibe to it. The main character has daddy issues. Very exciting. Can't wait to see how that develops.
Daddy issues of the year.
Right. Oh, and right now, all the characters are kids, but in the anime intro, they're adults. So I think there might be
A time skip?
Time skip,
Oh,
baby.
shit.
Whoa.
Love a good time skip. So
Okay.
hot.
Yeah, but
Hear
that's
me
you need
out.
a 5080 for that, actually. So
Oh, okay. I need a 5080 to time skip.
Yeah.
What if people start calling you Zuddy, Mike?
Zuddy?
Like Zaddy, but like
Fuddy duddy.
A Zuddy Zuddy.
yeah, Zuddy.
Yeah.
Zuddy.
Zuddy. It sounds like I'm suddy, like I'm like soapy or something.
Sudsy?
Sudsy, like I'm sudsy. So
That's not bad. Sudsy is nice.
yeah,
Speaking about time skips, can I talk about Dragon Ball Z for a second?
Sure.
I don't think we can stop you.
Yeah. The very end of Dragon Ball Z, so they kill Boo, and then there's a 10-year time skip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then during the 10-year time skip, Vegeta and Bulma go to visit Goku, and they're like, wow, you're a bad friend. We haven't seen you for 5 years. But wait, Goku is a bad friend. He could teleport. He could fly around the world, right? And it's a time of peace. Bulma is the first friend he ever made when he was like some brat who accidentally killed his grandpa. And you're telling me, like, once a month, you can't pop over there for dinner?
God,
Can't go
I was
say-
about to defend him, and then you said he could teleport. I'm like, oh shit! If I could
Wait.
teleport, I'd be a much better
He could
friend.
Are you referring? Can he teleport, or is it just the cloud?
No,
No,
he can
he's like
teleport,
instant
literally.
transmission.
Why does he fly in the cloud then?
He doesn't anymore after, like, the first few episodes of
He
Dragon
can
Ball
just
Z.
warp. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He learns how to
Only
warp right after
Goku can
killing.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, only Goku, because he learned it from the aliens after he killed Frieza. Yeah,
Yar-
instant
Yaris?
transmission. Is that what that
Yaris?
is?
Yeah.
Instant transmission
Yaris
is
is
a
a car.
And by the way, the instant transmission
video
Kamehameha
game.
on Cell
Yeah.
is still the top tier Kamehameha ever.
No.
No,
It is the
I know you like the
father-son-
father-son one. I know you like the father-son one.
The
No,
father-son Kamehameha is the ultimate one.
it's so good. Like, also, Goku's son Goten is best friends with Vegeta's son. They're hanging out constantly. Like, you don't just pop on over there while they're doing that.
but
He's
Goku
a bad
would never
friend.
be in the same room as his son.
Yeah, he would hate that so
What's
much.
worse, he did it. I've said this before. Goku is the Drake of anime because he's a deadbeat father, right?
Yes.
And he didn't
The
even
Rey
know he had.
Mysterio.
Oh,
Yes.
Vegeta turned into the camera and smiling. Say Goku. Yeah.
God.
Because Goku didn't know he had a second child.
Is there a Dominic Mysterio in Dragon Ball?
They're all
If Goku
Goten.
is
Yamcha.
Goten?
Speaking of the second child, remember they're gonna wish Goku back so he could, be around and maybe be a father to his son. He's like, nah, I don't want to. I'd rather be dead. Cool. Then at the end of the time skip thing in Dragon Ball Z, he's like, I'm going to go train this stranger and live with him now. Bye, teenage son and wife. See you later, idiots.
Did you leave YouTube on last night and some 4-hour explainer video came up and you just forgot to turn it off?
No, this
So
has
here's
been
what-
this has been marinating in his heart for years. This is his time skip.
Got
Here's
something to
here's
say.
here's what
Scary.
Facebook has become for me this week.
What?
The old white
This
people in my
week?
life complaining about the halftime show.
Oh,
And
yeah.
clips of Dragon Ball. So, I'll tell you what, and whenever the OG Dragon Ball clips come on, I'm like, man, this looks way better. This looks animated better. It seems more fun. I should watch Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball's great.
Dragon Ball is very fun. Dragon Ball Super has become an indecipherable mess.
Yeah, but I
is it
think I
still
know a
going?
lot of it just through these YouTube clips or these Facebook clips now. I think I got all the main sagas and storylines down.
Yeah, and then I don't remember if I ever watched GT to completion. I know there's
Wow.
a bad guy that's called Baby. I think.
I've seen more GT than ever through these things too, which is weird because GT's whole thing was supposed to be like Goku, Trunks, and Pan are flying through the universe. That's why it's a grand tour. And then after a bit of that, they're like, bring him back to Earth and have him fight a Cell knockoff. Actually, that'll be better.
Yeah.
People will like that more.
What's Trunks' gimmick? Is he someone's kid?
He's Vegeta's
Vegeta's.
kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Trunks is hella cool. We can all agree on that. Well,
You just show up and chop Frieza in half or something. I
Yes.
remember that
Yeah.
being cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Have we not
Frieza.
seen him before?
it's like when the Great Khali showed
Came
up
from
and
the
just
time, from the
immediately squashed the Undertaker.
yeah, but Trunks was cool, and then Trunks is a bratty kid that grows up to be kind of a doofus
Oh,
because
right.
he didn't have to face the strife that future Trunks
So he
did.
was like a rich kid that just he had an easy life.
He's one of these millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see.
a nepo baby. As,
I
as
know
they
you're a
say.
History of Trunks fan, Jan. Come on. So good.
I used to love that character. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right, wait, real quick. Can we dissect what just happened? Mike,
Yes.
did you look at the list of games, decide it was too short, and said, hey, we needed a diversion? Or was
No,
that all from the
I was
heart?
gonna do that no matter what.
Hell yeah.
as soon as time skip came up, because I have been stewing on this for a bit, and as soon as I brought time skip, I'm like, here's my chance to scream about Goku being a 5 years. You can't go visit two of your best friends who are already hanging out with your son constantly, and you know how to teleport. Can't go say hi for 5 years. What is he doing? I know he likes to train. He's training 18 hours a day just outside of the hut he lives in. Like, come on, take a break.
There's a new Dragon Ball anime. I forget what it's called.
Diamond, something, right?
Daima.
It's supposed to sound like demon because it's
I
about
was gonna
the
say
demons.
Daikatana, but that's not it.
No.
That's a different
That'd be
nightmare.
great.
No, that's John Romero's Daikatana. Please.
Right. And now they're all little babies.
Which is fun. It's fucked up that the gimmick of the new thing is like Goku's a kid again. I'm like, bitch, that was Dragon Ball GT. You already did that.
Mike, you
go ahead, Dan.
reminded me of a little existential moment I had this weekend when you talked about, old people on Facebook hating the halftime performance.
Mm-hmm.
I possibly got a text from an older person during the performance. I don't get this. I'm just crabby about this. I don't understand. This isn't music, This,
Is it your
type of thing.
dad?
Who could say?
Thank God my dad fell asleep already.
This isn't Led Zeppelin. Yeah. And I remember getting so annoyed and thinking, and don't worry, I came to the realization you will all have immediately, where I was like, God damn it, not understanding something or not liking it or loudly proclaiming that you don't understand or like something is not a personality trait. This is not interesting. This is not adding anything to any conversation. You're just, it's not interesting that you don't fucking get it. And then I got to the same, it was like, oh, Oh,
And
okay.
and you recorded your Fire Escape podcast of the best game
No,
ever.
I
where-
recorded that before.
How many JRPGs did you say
I
were
know.
for losers and nerds?
I know. I had that thought. Yes, okay. Perhaps I should take this knowledge and do something with it.
I also had an existential realization over the weekend. I was thinking about Daikatana, and I'm pretty sure now, and I hadn't realized this before, maybe you all did. John Romero's Daikatana, John Romero's big sword, is the name of the game a penis joke?
Oh, wow.
Not a joke. It's
Right,
definitely
not even a
about
joke.
his penis, but
just
it's not
his-
a joke.
John Romero's penis.
You should just name it that.
Yeah, basically they did.
Suck it down!
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
Yeah. Holy shit. This is a
Wow.
miles per
All
hour.
Yeah.
All right.
About to make you his bitch!
Oh, we should rename Miles Prowers to John Romero's penises. Yeah. We have realizations in the future.
Alright.
No longer Phoenix Down moments.
Here's how
No.
we're gonna do well on YouTube. We're just gonna take that realization and turn it into a video essay. Okay.
Sure.
And then
Okay.
Grubbs, give a good video essay face to the camera.
Yeah. And that's when I realized it was about his penis.
And then that's when we would play the clip of I jerked off at a rainforest cafe.
I jacked off in a rainforest cafe.
Sorry, jacked off. I didn't mean to
I
be
found out-
submerged. Like.
I specifically made this button so it restarts every time you press it so I can do this.
I jacked off. I jacked off. I jacked off. I jacked off. I jacked off in a rainforest cafe.
Wicka, wicka.
All right.
Ah, damn it.
Well, speaking about penises, is a game that is has a distinct lack of penises, which is Citizen Sleeper 2. Talked about this last week, continuing to play this. They should put this out on a phone. They should 100% put this out on a phone because, like, I would much rather play a game where I'm reading a lot on a phone or a tablet versus perhaps a Resident Evil on my phone.
Yeah.
Or like even a big Final Fantasy game. I'm probably not going to play one of those. Because the gameplay in Citizen Sleeper 2 incredibly light in terms of what you're doing. You're just picking options and rolling dice. But I just want to read. And I realize I could do this on my Steam Deck, but I don't want to bring my Steam Deck with me everywhere. And I generally will have my phone on me. And just please do that for me, guys. Do that for
I'm
me.
surprised that hasn't happened. Citizen, at least with Citizen Sleeper 1.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. It feels like the kind of game that does just end up on, because it's sold pretty well. And that's
Yeah.
usually the threshold. If you sell enough to be like, we're going back, we're making a sequel, reinvesting in the first one, we're adding like voice lines like they did with Disco Elysium. And now I'm just Disco Elysium. Did that get released on phone? I don't know.
think so.
Okay.
No.
All right. I don't know. Maybe maybe there's no market for it in their opinion. I don't know. But you're right. It would work well on phone.
Because I feel like there was a period of time when Apple Arcade was new and fresh, and some games were simultaneously releasing on Apple Arcade as well as Steam and console.
Sure.
I would like Citizen Sleeper 2 on my phone, please. It continues to be great. I haven't completed a cycle yet, but I have stared deep into the void and experienced many an existential crisis as I am befriending all of these people and coming to terms with my own reality and perhaps stopping bad habits. But I'm not going to do that today. But what I am going to do today is hear Mike's experience with the Monster Hunter Wilds beta. Y'all played this on UPF last week, if folks missed that.
Yeah. Me, Jeff, and Sean, and actually our pal Christian were playing the beta. And it's basically that same beta. It might be entirely that same beta that we had before, but this time I did get to play with friends, that aforementioned crew, which, to be clear, was kind of painful to figure out. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's like, are we the idiots? Are we the dum-dums? And I'm like, maybe, but this seems like it could be a little bit more sense, because it's like join a link show or whatever, and join the world link show or like the field link show, things like this. And I'm like, what does all that mean? I want to go beat up a monster with my friend.
Yeah. I understand why they do it now this way. Because it's like, okay, there could be this lobby that we are all just hanging out in. Like our whole Discord could be hanging out in this lobby. But then when it's time to actually form a party and go out, well, you want to have a smaller party within that lobby. I get it, but I think like it just the way it was presented was a bit confusing, and it wasn't like easy to invite people through Steam. And again, like Christian saying, was our settings. There's a bunch of stuff that I think was like both wrong with what we were doing and the way the game presents it. However, people will get over that hump because it's Monster Hunter and it's worth it. And once you understand what to do, it is relatively seamless and worked really well. And I was having a really good time.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mike, you please.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's the more important thing, right? Because that was a headache for a bit, and it's always frustrating when you're like trying to make content and you can't get things figured out. But once we got through that, and it was just a group of us fighting a big monster together, that was a lot of fun. We had a great time.
What weapons did y'all pick?
I was doing the long swords, like a katana, which was fun. Kind of, it seems like I wasn't doing a lot of stagger damage necessarily, but I could move pretty fast for such a big weapon and do a lot of damage. I was also using the bow because in this game, your mount, whatever they're called, whatever they're called, the big sword. I'm using the Dick Katana. You can go over to your mount and push a button and equip a different weapon. So you basically have two loadouts you can switch between. So I was like, okay, I never use these ranged weapons in these games. That always sounds lame to me, and it's not what I picture of Monster Hunter. But I tried the longbow, and that was actually a ton of fun. It's almost more mid-rangey than anything else. And you point and shoot, but there are still combos to it, and these long kind of high risk, high reward kind of charge moves. You can fire a homing shot so that your shots will target a creature more easily. I was surprised how good that felt. It's nice to know that I could switch between those two things at any point that I wanted to.
Yeah, I was. I think I was using the light bow gun. I think I was using one of the bow guns. And I mostly picked that because I knew we'd be in my point of view, so we could kind of see what everyone was doing up close while I was standing about mid-range away from the monster. But I really enjoyed it. The focus thing that like brings the wounds into view really is a cool feature because it's like, okay, well, I'm going to move around and get my sights set back on this thing. And now let's focus in on it so I can, and that's just really aim down sights is all that really is. And it makes the wounds glow red. And now it's like, okay, I have something to aim for. And I, of course, it's Monster Hunter. The weapons have their own functions. Like I have a specific little mini game I need to do with my gun to really hammer home on those wounds. And it's like, okay, just try to aim at it and hit it with your big attack, which you have a limited number of, unless you sort of do something which I was still figuring out. And whenever I would hit it, it would like completely destroy the wound, do a ton of damage, and that felt very satisfying. And then the rest of the time, I was kind of doing pretty mediocre damage, but I was able still to like kind of, all right, let's focus on this tail. And it was fun things to be like, oh yeah, Mike mentioned the tail could get knocked off. Like I remember that. All right, let's all hone in on the tail. And when we like successfully knocked that off, it's like, okay, we accomplished our own goal that we decided we were going to try to do in this battle. Now let's actually take down the boss. And it felt like we were all playing our roles. And I was just having a really good time.
The gang gets some tail together.
That's right. We did get some tail.
I'm very excited for this to come out. I'm doing the thing where I want to try a different weapon. I want to maybe go with like the heavy bow gun because I saw like the different ammo types. And that seems fun to try and manage. But I think I'm just going to swing away with that hammer, baby. Just continue to swing away. Did y'all get enough materials to dress up your hunters in dumb outfits or not?
No, they didn't even have crafting turned on yet. They had they had some outfits just already in your stash. So you can mess around with it a little bit. But yeah, Gemma's workshop wasn't open yet.
Were y'all able to ride your mounts together? Or I mean like all four together?
Yeah, they're all in our separate mounts. Like once you're in a group, you basically share the whole zone, like where the monsters are roaming. It's a different instance whenever you're in that town. So that's why there's kind of two different group settings, and that's sort of what's going on there. But, my favorite thing is just that you still can just accept missions and post them up. But you can just, look on the map, find a monster, and if you start attacking it after a little bit, it's like, okay, this is your mission. Mission started. Kill this monster. I'm like, great. That's. And
then once the mission started, it was like easier for like Christian was joining us, and he would use that to get in because now the mission had started and there was a mission for him to join. So the game was handling a lot of that stuff automatically in the background while we were just actually playing. That was nice. That was really neat. He also had the hunting horn, which just looked like a giant saxophone.
Oh yeah,
and that rules. That's an incredible thing.
Right.
I love when my Palico will bust that thing out and just
Yeah.
like, all right, cool, you're playing a fun song. Let's fucking go, buddy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's such a good one when you're in larger groups because its whole thing is based on the combos you do. You do different group buffs, right?
Yeah.
And like he's even kind of making these circle zones that if we stood in, we got buffs. So that's just a really neat weapon.
I think the focus mode, because I've seen some people that are new to the Monster Hunter series complain that there's no real good lock on. I think that being
Helps a
Monster
lot.
Hunter's version of it will help on board people. God, guys, I'm so fucking excited. I'm very upset I don't
wait.
have it in fantasy. I can't wait to
got
go
it?
hunt things with y'all.
Let's see who got
You did.
Lucy did. No, I named my team Monster Hunter Wilds, but then I had the first round pick, so I picked the 3D Mario game that's coming out. Then Lucy was second and picked Monster Hunter Wilds. So it was the second pick of the entire draft.
Well, I want to fight Lucy now. I know I'll lose, but I still want to fight. And so does Mike Minotti, because Mike Minotti's been playing Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, I played this game quite a lot when it first came out and enjoyed it.
How's
It-
my?
Yeah,
That's all I wanna know.
Vi's great. That was kind of thing. Like we've had a bunch of DLC characters already, and none of them have really spoken to me. I didn't care too much. Terry almost, but that's a good character. It's also a familiar character. I've never played any of the SNKs super deeply, but I played enough of them here and there that I'm generally familiar with Mai's moveset, the things she does with her fans and whatnot. And yeah, they are real
with
good.
OnlyFans?
That's a joke. Yes, that's great. It's funny, man. I can't believe they made a video game character that I'm blushing just talking about. It's like I'm stammering my words.
That's
I'm
what she
with you,
is,
bud.
though. That's literally who, like, the whole character is meant to do that.
Dan looks very confused.
I'm Googling.
You're not gonna be. You won't be impressed. There were multiple times I was like playing this and watching her in her like gym shorts in the loading screen, be like, "Man, even this would do nothing for Dan, huh?"
I'll
But
say it does nothing for me, but I'm happy it does things for you.
Mike, you're not alone, all right? You're not
Magnanimous.
alone. I'm with you.
Look, she's a very fun character to play as, though. Her fans, you can kind of send out a bunch of them, and if they get blocked, if you kind of do a charge move, they can sort of bounce up and hit them again. So basically, you can kind of get your opponent blocking a lot, so you can do interesting mix-ups. She has pretty good speed in terms of her kind of dash thing, whatever that's called. So you can get in there pretty quickly to do throws and whatnot. I'm still was pretty bad at it. I was able to play through arcade mode, maybe a couple online matches for funsy, but not do amazing or anything. But if I was to jump back in and ranked in any substantial way, I could see myself having a good time playing as Mai.
Lovely, lovely. That about does it for games this week. Folks, there's embargoes abound. We'll talk about more stuff on BCR this week and next week. The
you know
games
what?
are coming out.
I played one more. Ender Magnolia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a
Metroidvania.
sequel to Ender Lilies?
It is a sequel to Ender Lilies.
I like
although-
that. Yeah.
Yes. And, I heard about this from the besties. Russ Frushtick is a Metroidvania freak, and he was talking it up, and all of them were super into it, said things like, oh, the best combat in a Metroidvania ever. So I'm like, well, I need to judge that for myself. And it's got, it doesn't start off with that. Like you need to like build up and like build your character. But you can see how it works, where it's like you get these spirits that can attack on your behalf, but they immediately are like, hey, which button do you want to assign that attack to? Implying you're going to have 4 different options at all these different times. And the second attack option you get is like this big thrusting fist punch that has a cooldown on it. So you can already see it's like, okay, that's very different than the quick sword attack I just had.
Is this
So
like Orders of Ecclesia coded?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah,
Ooh.
a little bit. Also, a very near coded, actually. It has a lot.
tell.
Yes, like there's homunculi everywhere. It's a bunch of robot shells that are like very sad. So that's near to me. I'm gonna try to play a little bit more of it. Didn't immediately grab me, but that's also what they were saying on the besties. So I'm like, I'm gonna see it through and see if I can get some of these more complicated combat options. But the way it starts as a Metroidvania, I'm like, well, it doesn't feel immediately as good as Metroid Dread or something like that, but it doesn't feel bad either.
Yeah,
So
and if you say best combat in Metroidvania, I mean Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which
Yeah.
I think we can mention pretty freely on here now. Giant Bomb's Game of the Year 2024. Yep. That is so far beyond the best combat I've seen in any 2D game. Actually, that I'm just like immediately skeptical if you say something has better combat than it. I'd like to see it and like to try it for myself to see how it measures up. But man, it has lofty shoes to fill.
Exactly.
Before we go to break, I also got a little bit of time. I haven't spent too much time in it, but Keep Driving is you're just going to drive a Buick across the country and figure out your feelings, but also manage inventory. It's like fucking vibes.
It's like NTL a little bit. It looks right.
Yeah. It's you're managing like your car, or the peeps in it, all the jazz in it. I'll try and spend more time with it so we can talk about BCR. Maybe we'll stream it. Maybe we'll stream a bunch of games on the website this week because games are starting to come out. It turns out.
Wow, that they're doing that.
Yeah, I thought we were done.
Yeah,
I thought we were done. Yeah, folks, we're gonna take a quick break, and we will be back with some video game news.
Blick first, then God got me. I watch them pander with them backhanded compliments. Put their head on the Cuban link as a monument. I pay homage and I'll always mind my business. I never lost who I am for a rap image. There's motivation if you wonder how I did it. Yeah, nigga, going up your rank. Know you a god even when they say you ain't. Yeah, nigga, keep your feelings out the way. Never let no one put smut up on your name. Yeah, nigga, keep your head down and work like I do. But understand, everybody ain't go like you. Yeah, nigga, if they say it's love, you been lied to. A couple rules of engagements, I'ma guide you. Riding in my GNX with Anita Baker and the tape deck. It's gonna be a sweet love. Fuck apologies, I wanna see y'all geeked up. Don't acknowledge me, then maybe we could say it's fair. Take it to the internet and I'ma take it there. Miss my Uncle Lemaine, he said that he would kill me if I didn't make it. Now I'm possessed by a spirit and they can't take it. Used to bump the Carter 3, I held my rolly chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. Whatever though, call me crazy, everybody questionable. Turn me to an Eskimo, I drew the line in decimals. Snoop posted tailor-made, I prayed it was the edibles. I couldn't believe it, it was only right for me to let it go. Won the Super Bowl and I'm the only one congratulate me. All these niggas agitated, I'm just glad they shown their faces, quite frankly. Plenty artists, but they outdated. Old ass flows trying to convince me that you they favorite. This is not for lyricists, I swear it's not the sentiments. Fuck a double entendre, I want y'all to feel this shit. Old soul, bitch, I probably built them pyramids. Ducking strays when I rap battled in the Nickersons. Where you from? Not where I'm from. We all indigenous. Against all lies, I squabbled up for them dividends. Against all lies, I showed up as a gentleman. I done lost plenty friends, 16 to be specific. Put that on my kids' children. We go see the future first. They like that big trip, and I just want what I deserve. What bridge they done burnt, all of them is over with. I'm doing what COVID did. They'll never get over it. Yeah, nigga, going up your rank. Know you a god, even when they say you ain't. Yeah, nigga, keep your feelings out the way. Never let no one put smut up on your name. Yeah, nigga, keep your head down and work like I do. But understand, everybody ain't gonna like you. Yeah, nigga, if they say it's love, you been lied to. A couple rules of engagements here to guide you. Niggas from my city couldn't entertain no boy. Promising big transactions and even Bitcoin. I never piece it up, that shit don't sit well with me. Before I take a truce, I'll take them to hell with me. Que refleja.
Something breaking? I jacked off in a rainforest cafe. Breaking news, everybody.
You need to stop telling us that. All right?
We know. We understand.
We get it. We're all very proud of you. Okay?
No, that's not the word.
We're all very
ashamed.
No.
That crowd that was building around Nikki and Jan we're going to do that for you the next time we're at Rainforest
Yeah,
Cafe.
chanting.
Just cheer you on.
Oh, you didn't tell us that. Why'd you get
Whack it.
All right. Why'd you get a crowd at Hollywood?
I can't say.
No, he's still talking about it when he can.
Oh, it's because you were good at a video game.
Jeff Grubb with the news.
Because you were goobers in a video game.
PlayStation State of Play returns this Wednesday with a 40-plus minute show. Sony Interactive Entertainment will stream a new State of Play presentation on Wednesday, guys, February 12th at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern. So we'll talk over that. I think we'll be able to get that set up. It'll be a good time. Be after a Blight Club.
Will you stay in the gimmick, Grubb?
Yeah, stay in the gimmick. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I probably
Can't
won't have
wait
time
for
to
you
get
to
out.
introduce that.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be heated at all from like perhaps being frustrated for 2 hours.
No, very unlikely. I mean, I'll beat it like because it's a lightning round game. It'll
He'll
be
beat
done
it
by
quick.
then, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like Mike.
Exactly. Just like
They
Mike.
jacked off in a rainforest cafe.
Oh wow.
I am excited about this. They need to talk about games. I'm excited about.
Me too.
Yeah.
Do you think any Xbox titles will get featured on the State of Play?
Yeah, probably Forza. I think
Yeah.
Forza will
Forza,
be there.
I don't
Indiana
think they're
Jones.
they're not going to like announce some like game that has been announced before. They'll announce ports because like Avowed, for instance, which is coming out very soon, has not had a PlayStation version ever announced, right?
Oh,
So maybe something like that.
That's true. But they got to Indiana Jones is coming to PlayStation 5 very soon. Wouldn't be
Right.
surprised if that shows up in
And
there.
Forza.
Yeah. And then
God.
people are in chat are asking about PC ports. I mean, I have no idea. I'm really hopeful Demon Souls gets announced for PC. Would love to play Demon Souls on PC.
Ooh,
Sure.
yeah.
That would
That'd be
make
cool.
sense.
But I mean, beyond that, like, do we expect anything major?
Well, in the last one was in September, and that was also 40 minutes long, and it was, kind of a lot of talking about some games that we knew about, showing off some that were at that point coming out relatively recently. Some, like they're talking about Monster Hunter Wilds of that one,
Right.
but they did have the very big reveal at the end of that one of Ghost of, I always say it wrong, Yotai.
Yote?
Okay. Yep.
Damn it, blew it. Right. So like, I bet something similar. Like we'll hear about Metal Gear Solid Delta for sure because that's happening pretty soon. Maybe
The
some other
trailer
fun
leaked,
third-party
right?
stuff.
Did it
What's
leak
that?
or just went up on PSN early? There was like a Snake Eater
Yeah, I think it
trailer
went up on
that went
PSN early, but honestly, I don't remember. Did they put it out?
It was
fully? I don't know.
PSN, and then it had the release date on it for August
Right.
as well.
Yes.
Yes.
And then they'll definitely have at least one big announcement at the
Death
end for something
Stranding.
completely new.
2 updates?
Death Stranding, they just said they're doing like a big live stream from South by Southwest with Kojima. So I don't know.
What a
if maybe
weirdo.
maybe we get a tease for a South by
Yeah.
Southwest.
Yeah,
thing.
maybe.
Let's go to South by Southwest.
Yeah,
Maybe
sure.
we should. That'd be great, man.
I think
I've never
Hotel
been to that.
podcast. Love 'em.
Yeah.
I love a good hotel podcast.
we go to
Grub, you did a great one
Whataburger.
last night, Grub.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Normal crew on that.
Yeah.
There's some third parties that might be interesting to hear more from. Like, Metal Gear. We'll see. But are we going to hear some more about some of the Silent Hill games from Konami? There's been those rumors about a AAA Castlevania game. Do we
I
hear
hope that
about
happens here.
that? And Capcom. I think we're all kind of wondering. Hey, seems like you almost always have some kind of Resident Evil that we know about, looking forward to. So it's almost a little weird at this point that it's been quote unquote so long since we've heard them announce a new one. That could happen here with a Resident Evil 9 or another remake. Probably 9 right now. That would be a big deal.
I think the thing I wonder where they're at is they probably a few months ago, maybe before Concord, were thinking, okay, in that State of Play in early 2025, that's where we'll go hard on Marathon and Fair Games.
Oh shit!
If that's what they have for this State of Play, and they don't have any of those other big pillar games, people are going to be like, wait, what? You're still doing this? I thought you had given up. And of course, they haven't fully given up on live service games, but they also have to get those games out, and they do want to try to focus on them a little bit. So I think they might be between a rock and a hard place a little bit. So I mean, Marathon might be a huge hit. Who knows? It's Bungie.
It's
We'll have
some
to wait
like
and
Fair
see.
Games.
Well, Fair Games is.
I'm,
probably not gonna be. No.
I'm still holding on to hope, and I hope Mike will still share a pow pow fruit with me that we might see some Kingdom Hearts 4 stuff.
Yeah, that's another one that it's been a long time. They don't have a big Kingdom Hearts or get big Final Fantasy game sort of looming over instead. Like this is, as far as we know right now, Square Enix's next big game, right? There's a Dragon Quest 12. I think even the Dragon Quest people recently are like, yeah, we're gonna release details on that one very slowly. So we don't expect anything big there. So this could be a good opportunity to start talking about Kingdom Hearts 4 in a more substantial way.
Sony Santa Monica, do we know what they're working on?
Well, because we haven't heard about the Cory Balrog game, right?
Right. That's been quite some time, actually.
I say Balrog instead of Balrog. Wait, yeah,
I can
right.
never remember.
Is it like the thing from Lord of the Rings or no?
It's like not exactly like that. No.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Balrog. So there's all this Insomnia stuff. Insomniac, Wolverine, maybe, especially if that is going to be a thing. Yeah, is that Venom game actually happening? And there's some reason to think not, but there's reasons to think yes. Especially like Miles Morales was so good. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do another Miles Morales size project.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that Spider-Man 2 ended, they kind of have a setup to do a 2+ type of game.
Right. Well, plus,
with another character.
It's not that this is not much of a spoiler anymore, but there's like a whole section in Spider-Man 2 where you play as Venom for a bit. He has a very distinct moveset, and you do it for like 20 minutes, right? I'm like,
oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, did they really put all that work into figuring out how Venom would play just for that? It seems like maybe not.
Would they ever circle back to that multiplayer game that they were working on for?
I think they will at some point, but they're just so busy. They have, after this, they're making the X-Men games, right? They have a long line of things that they are going to try to get done, and I think a multiplayer game would probably be a distraction, in their opinion. Yeah. I don't know.
We could see more of Ghosts. We could see maybe more of Intergalactic from Naughty Dog. Do you think there used to be rumors about some kind of Uncharted remake or something like that? Do you think there's anything with Uncharted going on right now? Really,
I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but probably not. Or if it is, it's probably pretty early.
I've kind of had an appetite to play through Uncharted again, so I wouldn't mind a remaster.
Just go play Uncharted 4. Like, you're good. Like,
I want to climb a train, Jeff Grubb.
You're right.
Play Lost Legacy.
Watch the movie.
I did recently, and then I was upset all over again.
No, it's okay. Mark Wahlberg has a mustache at the end of it. It's gonna be great in the sequel.
House Mark, I think we could get like Retooneral in this.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah,
that was criminally underrated. I think I love Returnal.
Wonder by who? I think it was rated right where it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Jeff were like, we're mild on Returnal.
I'll tell you, that was game of the year that year.
I just played Hades, and I was like,
sure.
This is like every run is the same compared to Hades, where everything could feel different every time. It just was like kind of a bummer after a while.
Hades is really good, but I might take Returnal over it.
You would take Returnal over Hades?
It'd be close. It'd be close. It's been a while since I played either, but I really fucking love the tone of Returnal.
Returnal's got a good tone,
and just the world and the environment and everything. I don't know. The Hades stuff didn't really do it for me.
They added multiplayer to that, right? I'm not imagining that.
I never tried it. Yeah.
Well, we could try that. That'd be fun.
It's like a co-op tower thing. Yeah.
We should try that.
Jeff, saw some other third-party companies here that might be working on something big, like maybe. You already know what like Bandai Namco.
We all know, right?
Dad, just tell me something about Ridge Racer. You said you were going to look into it for me. You promised me.
I asked a couple of sources, and one of them said, lol, nerd, and then didn't say anything else. So
is that a shoot?
That's a shoot. That's for real. They really said that. So
that's not a no. That's not a no.
You're right. Not a no. But I can't help you there. Not yet, anyhow. Okay. I hope so, buddy, for your sake.
Yeah, please.
Anyway, some other Sony news. A new PS5 and Astrobot bundle is reportedly coming soon. Sony is reportedly releasing this PS5 bundle with a download code for Astrobot. The bundle will also include a standard PS5 console with a disk drive, but not the special Astrobot DualSense controller.
What about
those things I think are sold out, right? I think you
the Astrobot controllers?
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
I think so.
They're sharp. I like those a lot.
Yeah, I got one in the box here, and I was cousin-in-law, I don't know, he was asking for it. He got real obsessed with Astrobot. I'm like, I'll just give him that. They can't find it, no problem. And Steph looked up the price and says, no, you cannot give him this $500 controller.
Oh, Jesus, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Fine.
All right.
Anyway, I think that's something that could show up at that state of play. We'll see.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. That's the smartest pack-in game you can do right now. I mean, it's the most PlayStation game imaginable.
Game of the year, too.
Make a Kendrick Lamar bot, please.
Yeah, sure. Is he signed to Sony? Maybe they could actually make that happen.
Oh, I mean, Kendrick and Astrobot, both short kings.
That's right. Man, Astro just wearing the jacket and the bootcut jeans. A classic Sony rhythm game, action game could be marching to PlayStation Plus. This is Patapon 3. Patapon 3 was that a PSP game?
I don't know about 3. The first couple were.
I think PSP was still on, or Patapon 3 was still PSP, I believe.
Yeah, I think they might have done it. Might have released it elsewhere after that, after some time. But yeah, looks like it's going to be coming back. I know there's some Patapon freaks out there. I never played much.
They're called Greg Miller.
Yeah, there's some Greg Millers out there.
Yeah, I was a Loco Roco guy when it comes to PSP. Kind of Loco Roco rhythm. I don't know if it was
No,
rhythm.
it's like a goofy game.
Yeah,
No,
I like Loco Roco.
but you're right. I always associate Patapon and Loco Roco with each other.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I like Patapon. I definitely I don't think I even quite beat the first one and had my fill of it. So when they kept making them, I was a little bit like, I don't know if I need more Patapon. I bet it's been so long now that if I went back to one and just went to a Patapon 3, I would have a good time.
I was over on my DS playing my Elite Beat Agents, looking down, thinking, pathetic.
Yeah.
Playing a real rhythm game.
Oh, Elite Beat Agents, holy shit.
I should play that.
One day.
It's so good.
One
It's so
day.
good, Dan.
I'll make a note to play. Wait, is that something I could play on? Is that DS?
Yes.
Yeah, DS.
Damn, I was hoping like something like. Well, I have DSs like with that. I have that. Wait, I have the fucking cart. Why don't I have like 19 DSs? Why don't I just play the game?
Yeah, just play
as
it on the
intended?
shoot
I'm sitting here
hardware.
like, oh, how can I do an analog or maybe the trim UI? It's like, wait, no, I just have the
You
game.
could also just use your phone. Yeah.
Oh,
Your
yeah,
Steam Deck could also do it.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
the
good. I
touchscreen.
think it's a good game on shoot hardware, though. It's
I
such
agree.
a DS game.
Oh, chat reminded me I reviewed this game. Right. Okay, yeah. So I guess I
think we
did play
looked
this
at
back
before.
in the day. Yeah.
When y'all were playing Elite Beat Agents, that was a stylus only game, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, as a stylish joint for sure.
Okay,
I guess you could use that thumb strap if you were a real freak, but
I like
I
that.
think
Oh,
you
yeah.
wouldn't
Okay.
need the thumb strap.
I gave it a 7.8.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you revise that
we went
now?
through this before.
Oh,
You
right.
criticized the track selection.
I didn't like Skater Boy because the song was bad, and I think I probably just wanted it all to be like Credence or something. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably that era. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Did any of you guys ever play the DS Guitar Hero game? I wanted to
Yeah.
so
Yeah, on-
bad.
Yeah,
On
on
tour?
tour and decades.
Not
Right?
bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It was okay.
They're all-time bad commercial. I've tried to find this on YouTube recently where it's a dude at like an outdoor diner type thing. If anyone can find this, I remember this being legendarily bad. And a girl's looking over at him and he's like tapping at the screen and stuff. And he starts doing like a solo and she's like impressed and comes and sits next to him and they're like rocking out like at a diner. And it's, I think it was presented unironically. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to pick up this chick with my guitar skills.
Yeah, I had the same experience in I was gonna say Rainforest Cafe. In jacked off in a Rainforest Cafe, playing Phoenix Wright and screaming objection loudly in front of a group of girls. They loved it.
A girl that I may have or may not have had a crush on made me feel stupid when she showed me her brain age score versus mine. Like, oh, you smart, huh?
Yeah. But just a younger brain. That's not your fault. You
Yeah,
can't
that
have
stuff. It's like you guys have one friend who's like really into IQ tests.
Oh,
and like
sure.
guessing
Well, not
what people's
anymore.
IQ scores are.
Or what you're like the acronym of like I'm introvert something. This
Oh
is
yeah,
something.
the Myers-Briggs. That
I-
Myers-Briggs.
Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how Harry Potter houses is just like watered down Myers-Briggs.
Oh, that whole series is very like white girl psychology coded. Absolutely.
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right.
Wait, I
anyhow,
like that there was
Sony rejected a
brain
pitch for
age-
Resistance. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Dan?
So I was just thinking that they did Brain Age and Wii Fit Age from the same company.
Yeah, they are obsessed with our ages.
Oh
as
my
we
god,
measure
the
things.
Switch 2 is gonna heal us spiritually.
Spirit Age.
Or Holy
Spirit
Score.
Age.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you want to be as high as possible. You want to have
Okay.
an old soul.
Of course,
Got-
yes.
For serious, I gotta have the lowest spirit age of the group, right? My spirit age has to be so young. Come
Wait,
on.
what do you like? Is a younger spirit score better?
Only a young spirit would jack off.
Is this a morality score
No,
or a religion score?
no, it's
What?
spirit.
Why is yours the worst?
Wouldn't
No,
you?
the
Yeah, wouldn't you
best.
have the most?
Oh, youngest. Wait. I thought we said we wanted to be highest.
Because all the other examples, young is better.
So what, you're saying like you're the most holy of us all?
You're the most
well,
innocent?
yes, but no. That's not, I mean, it's not entirely.
What have you
helpful.
done for the Catholic agenda this episode, Mike? Come on.
I read a tweet from the Pope and liked it.
Oh, huh.
Like, the black beanie was a bit.
Yeah. No, it's
No, you're Hollywood now.
Vegas
You,
Jerome.
you said you wanted heel era. Well, here it is.
Sony rejected a pitch for Resistance 4, claims
No!
Insomniac's founder.
Good.
Yeah. Any of you guys Resistance heads?
I
They
liked
like-
the first one a
Yeah.
lot because it was a launch game for the PS3 and it had it was like 20 plus multiplayer, which wasn't really a thing that happened as much. And I remember liking it. You could shake the controller to get the grenade tag off you and all
Right.
that. It had the
Six
6-axis support.
6-axis, yeah.
2 I thought was fine. I didn't play as much as 1, and then I reviewed 3, and I remember that was one of the times I was like significantly lower than the like Metacritic average, and so all of the like Sony heads and Resistance
yeah.
fans really came after me because I gave it a 7 out of 10, and most people were giving it like 9. And
Oh,
boy,
shit.
Happened to
people
me
did
when
not
I
like
gave
that at
Returnal
all.
3 out of 5.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, is Resistance 3 talked about as a 9 out of 10 these days, right? Like, you
No,
think you're
I
fine?
stand by. I was right. It's fine. It's a fine.
Yeah,
game.
I don't want to like crap on Resistance too much, but I never quite understood why.
Resistance was the game with the gun where you just like shoot it away and then you pick a target, right?
You could
It had one of
shoot
those
the
guns?
tag on it, so
Yeah.
it would like get
Yeah.
like a homing tag on it,
Yeah.
and then wherever you're shooting the general area, it would kind of like
Smart
jumper
pistol,
towards
gotcha.
you. Yeah.
Just pulling up and looking at pictures. This is like it's the epitome of the piss filter age, man.
Oh
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and then like later on, they're like, well, if we add some like blue flares, that's exciting too. That'll help make it really pop. Yeah, I think Resistance is fun and good, but I definitely resent it for kind of being a standard bearer for a lot of the worst tendencies of AAA games at that time too.
Yeah,
Right, just
I agree with that.
rubble everywhere. Everything's piss filtered and gray, and those apartments like these are the people who made Ratchet and Clank, and now here's this. And I think I definitely like it more when they do Ratchet and Clank.
yes.
Anyway, they rejected it for timing and market opportunity. Basically, just saying opportunity costs. We'd rather you take this time to work on anything else.
Yeah.
And they did, and they have.
So, when was this about? Because there's a bit there when Insomniac was kind of making some flubs with, I just said Ratchet Clank. Ratchet Clank All for One, not very good. Then they had that weird 4-player game that like got rebooted before it came out that nobody liked or remembers.
But Ratchet, that All for One.
There's All for One, but there's another 4-player co-op game they made that was an
right.
original IP, Fuse.
Oh,
It has
I
different
reviewed that.
names.
Yeah,
Yeah, Fuse. Nobody. Yeah, people don't remember Fuse.
That was
so
Overstrike. It was supposed to be Overstrike,
it was
and then they made it boring.
Overstrike,
Yeah.
and then they did a reverse Borderlands on it
Yes.
actually,
Yes,
which
they
is
did.
a very strange decision. Yeah.
And some of the guns were okay in Fuse. I remember that was an interesting one because me and Ben Hansen went out to Insomniac for that because we did a Game Informer cover. And so it's one of those things where you're in the room. It's a 4-player thing. So they set up like me and Hansen and a couple Insomniac people. And it's just like whenever you're playing co-op or multiplayer, like at the studio with people who made the game, you definitely get that like E3, just like, whoa, yeah, get to the chopper, like that type of thing. And I remember it was just me and Hansen playing. It's like, all right, that gun's kind of okay. And like the 2 other people on our team just like, all right, guys, we got to extract. We got to do this thing. It's like, okay, all right. Like, real divide between the journalists and the team there.
Yeah. Very excited.
May have a related story to that later this week.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Oh man, very fun.
Not in
gonna
the same
contain
way.
himself.
Not in the same way.
Still,
Yeah.
yeah. So this just sounds like this happened after 2011, that period when they were done with Resistance and hadn't really moved on to anything else at that point. So yeah, it's been a while.
They had a big VR thing for a bit there too, kind of in between.
Yes, they were
Resistance and
prolific.
Spider-Man.
I did
right?
a robot thing. What was the name of that game that you're a robot in VR?
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I can't remember
People
that.
kind of
That
liked
was
it, but yeah.
There
popular
was like
demo.
a spell shooting PvP game
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Trying to bring the iToy back.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have judgment.
You ever
Yep.
see like any of those YouTube shorts about people playing the VR spellcasting games against one another? Kind of. Okay,
Yes.
well,
No, it's
we should
only
do-
Dragon Ball.
We should do that. We should see if we can get that game going.
We should do it. Was the PSVR Harry Potter? No, Wonder Book. It wasn't VR, was it? It was
Yeah.
like a gimmick
Yeah.
book
was it,
with the
was it an
iToy?
eye? Was it with iToy? Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a Harry Potter one, actually. Yeah, God. The weird Harry Potter games that you get a Hogwarts Legacy, but then you also get like that Quidditch game that came out and then nobody cared about, and then
Yeah.
some iToy thing.
Oh wow!
Book
I
of
just searched.
Spells,
First thing I
yeah.
looked it up on YouTube, and I see me in a Harry Potter hat and scarf and glasses playing this. So that's
Oh, hell
probably
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Very cool. Is that iToy, or am I thinking of that Eye of Judgment game?
Eye of Judgment was the card game.
That was
Yeah,
that
the
awesome
card game.
PS3 card game.
Was
That was
similar-
iToy. It pointed down at the grid. It was like a 5x5 grid. I know because I pulled this out at New Year's Eve at a party. The cloth. And I just walked by Hanson, who was mid-conversation. I just threw the cloth at him. And he just looked at me, and then he looked up and he like nodded across the room, be like, I recognize Eye of Judgment when I see it.
I recognize it. Yes.
Yes.
Dan,
Fantastic.
what was your existing knowledge of the Harry Potter universe when you did this video that you share? Oh,
Oh, it had
'cause
to
this
be
isn't
nothing.
in Harry Potter. Okay.
No, it's always been nothing.
It's still
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You look great in it, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real Gryffindor. Yeah.
You're such a Slytherin, Dan.
yeah,
He's
it's
not a
actually what he would be.
Slytherin.
I think I've heard that. Yeah, I did read the first book just to see what the hell it was. I read that like a few years ago.
A few years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's
You
fine.
just like really enjoyed her politics. You're like, let's give this.
That
a
was the
chance.
thing. It's
Yeah.
yeah. It was when I was in New York. Because I remember listening to the audiobook, walking to GB East. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in England for the first time when I was 18, and they had the Harry Potter books, and it was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's
Philosopher's
Stone. So
Stone.
I was like, I bought it and read it again. Like, this is a very different and interesting experience.
GTA 6 is still on track to release in the fall of 2025. Take-Two says they did their earnings report, and they're pretty insistent about this. I think that right now they probably do think this game's coming out later this year. They made a big delay once already. Internally, that was not like, oh, we announced it for 2024 and then it's coming out in 2025. But internally, they were expecting it in 2024. So maybe this game really is going to be ready. Are you guys like preparing yourselves for that possibility?
No. It's coming out this year, and you're going to lose a ton of fantasy critic points, and it's going to be
We'll see.
hilarious.
GTA 6 will come out. Metroid Prime 4 will not.
Bad news.
That's
there,
another
Dan.
fantasy critic reference, everybody, in case you're wondering.
I just want GTA 6 to just come out this year already so we can all stop talking about it.
Yeah, well,
Well, people will
Sure.
talk about it for 10 years, though.
yeah, flush it out.
it's like, and we'll talk about it for
Yep.
12, 20 years. And
We'll
get
do a
into the
feature where we all do
multiplayer, yeah.
co-op together, and yes,
Yeah.
of course.
I'll be
Yeah.
a fuddy-duddy and be like, I don't get these games why they're so popular, and it'll be fantastic.
Let's be real.
How much of it, Mike, is because it's just like adult
Crime.
problems and crime and stuff?
Not even that, but like, I don't know if it's like the British humor or whatnot, but like a lot of the same reasons why I never like when Conker's Bad Fur Day came out, right? And I was 14, I should have been the target audience for it. I remember at the time thinking, this shit's really immature and kind of
Oh,
lame.
I was 16 and I fucking loved it.
See, so it's the same thing with like the PS2 GTA games, because there's a lot of that, like, you run by a billboard and it's some it's like a parody of like somebody putting a pickle in a donut, right? And it's
Every
like,
number
ha, ha,
is 69.
every number
yeah.
69, and
Yep.
I kind of just constantly rolled my eyes at a lot of it.
Yeah, it's weird. I rolled my eyes at GTA stuff back then just because it did seem like really, low effort jokes with the like 69 stuff and all that. But something about Conquer, I think I like British humor, and it also was just constantly referencing like it's sort of with a Clockwork Orange reference. It does like all these movies, Saving Private Ryan and The Matrix, and like I think I liked that more.
I probably could have gotten over myself a little bit with Conquer.
Yeah, but Conquer insists upon itself for sure.
Conquer
It does.
insists upon
It
itself.
does a Terminator thing where a hay bale turns into a Terminator, and it's talking like there's it's good at references in there.
Look, they're all good games, and when I play GTA, I generally have fun. I am just sometimes, and I do get it, but I am often just like, oh, so this is the one, this is the biggest thing. Okay,
All right, we'll stick with this general company. Rocksteady is back working on a single-player Batman game. It's claimed. I don't think anyone's going to be too surprised to hear that, right?
no.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Like, they have to get it right? Or else this time Batman will be dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's right.
it could be kind of, like that Dragon Age situation, right? You go away from a thing for a while to try to do some other things. Those don't really work out. And now is it kind of too late? I mean, even Arkham Knight, which sold really well and was, reviewed kind of well, like, it doesn't seem as well regarded as the previous one. So maybe you're already on a little bit of a downward slope there. Like, well, what do you do to make one of those exciting again? Like, for me, it's like, oh, maybe make one more like Arkham Asylum, make it a
Yes.
bit more kind of contained and Metroidvania-y. and I just know that that's a hard sell internally and probably even to a lot of players now.
That is the one that, like, I liked all three of those games a lot. I was even higher on Night than I think a lot of people were, but I do think it was diminishing returns every time. The one I liked the most was Asylum, just because it was that more contained, you know, like I realized, like on paper, like when you would hear about Arkham City being like, oh my God, you're going to get to fly, and it's like the Mario World Cape, and it's a whole city. Like, yeah, that's awesome, but man, Asylum was so focused and so good for it, you know?
Yeah. I definitely liked all of them. I mean, I wish they'd maybe do something really interesting that they probably won't do, like a Batman Beyond kind of thing, because that's going to, you know, because then suddenly it's gonna be like, whoa, we tried doing one of these without Batman in it. It was called Gotham Knights, and nobody really cared. So let's not do that again. Gosh, I don't know what direction you take. I bet it's going to just be another big open world Batman game, and that could be a ton of fun. I like Arkham City a lot, and I also like Arkham Knight more than most, I think, Dan. I remember being a little confused why everybody hated the Batmobile stuff so much. I thought it was actually
great.
Fun.
I thought it was really fun. Yeah. I mean, I think it had a lot of early hate because of performance issues.
Yes, performance issues, and the story wasn't amazing. Perhaps I wonder if it's like, is it enough just to be like, now here's the Bat Wing, and that's a whole thing too. And
no,
right?
Scale it back.
Yeah,
Star Fox game.
Going bigger is a problem for sure.
So I like the Batman, the movie, but I don't want them to have to go for that. I maybe would be down for like a year one Batman, though, not in the same tone as the Batman.
Like an Arkham Origins?
I do think that I hope they kind of change up their tone a little bit. For as much as I like Arkham Asylum and then enjoyed City, and I never really played Night, I always just think that their take on it is always so aggressive and I don't know, immature again.
I've always
wish they could change it up a little bit.
I've always hated how the Joker looks. Like he's too pointy.
Very pointy.
He's very pointy.
I kind of like pointy Joker. I think I have to disagree with you there. I think that's kind of my favorite Joker.
I think I just associate it with all like of their, I don't know. Again, maybe it's because it's a British studio. Maybe some of that's just coming through. And I'm like, that's fine, but I just kind of wish they would try something new.
You want Adam West?
I don't know if they could nail the tone of it.
No, that'd be really difficult.
Is there a game?
No way they could sell that.
Is there a bad Batman game with the Jared Leto likeness? Because I just want to do Mike Blight Club and him have to be the Jared Leto Joker.
No,
I mean, we could
game.
Any game with the Joker, we could just make him do that one.
You cannot.
He's so funny.
We could just make him do it.
You know, I think isn't there a villains Lego game like DC villains?
Yeah, there is, but I don't think it's bad.
Fine. Probably.
Can you just show up for a Bombcast like Jared Leto Joker one of these days?
Let's all do it. We'll all do it, Mike. Next week.
Sure.
I've heard you have extra white face paint.
No, I threw that away for sure. I would love one that actually kind of looked more like the Schumacher Batman films with the giant statues everywhere.
All the neon
that would be
shit.
amazing. That would look so good in a video game.
I unironically appreciate and love the Schumacher Batman movies. And again, I'll say it again. Watch Batman and Robin now. Maligned back in the day. You watch it now. I watched back to back with Batman Forever. And I used to be a big Batman Forever mark. Batman and Robin is a more fun watch.
It's because it's like manna from heaven now, because it's like they don't make movies like that anymore.
No one.
And it's like, oh my God, this is what we had, and we gave it up for this slop.
We shit on it. We drove it out of town with pitchforks.
Yeah, we were so mad. He has a bat credit card, and now it's like, no, this is fun.
Watch it and expect the tone of like the '66 movie, you know, like, and then you'll have a good time.
Bat skates would kind of fucking rip, though.
Just like Astrobot, when you just walk on the ice, you automatically start skating, but in a Batman
Because of
game.
pirouette.
Yeah.
Sticking with DC, Wonder Woman game has reportedly been rebooted.
Why?
Relatively, very recently, apparently been rebooted. Has a new director and is still years away from release. The game was announced in 2021. I don't know if you guys know this. It's 2025 now. They've spent $100 million on it. This all comes from Jason Schreier, Bloomberg. I don't know if this ever comes out.
I mean, you already, during that time, you already completely missed that moment when Wonder Woman was popping off, right? Yeah. Like, we already had the rise and fall of Wonder Woman once
Suicide Squad all over again. Maybe not as bad as Suicide Squad, but yeah.
No, God, that's a problem. And meanwhile, like, the one superhero that seems like it's probably going to have a moment again is Superman, because that James Gunn movie looks like it's good. Yeah, I guess, gosh, everybody was always like, why doesn't Rocksteady just make a Superman game? And I guess we're still not going to go that route either. Ooh, I wonder if this Wonder Woman game ever comes out.
They made that 360 Superman game. I remember that being
Superman Returns. I remember.
Yeah, it was bad. It wasn't 64 bad, but yeah, he does not have a good video game history.
No, I had the NES game as a kid.
I
Or at least
rented
one of my
that.
friends did. It was a
And you had to go
weird
into the
game.
phone booths to change, and
Yeah, he was really chibi looking. It was bizarre.
God, that second Wonder Woman movie is absolute dog shit.
No,
It's so
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I do like watching. I'm not like a giant Red Letter Media fan, but I do like watching their video on that Wonder Woman movie. It's pretty funny.
The best part to come out of those Wonder Woman movies, though, is I guess, Wonder Woman's theme, where it's.
Mm-hmm.
The guitar thing.
Yeah, the guitar is good. Whenever it shows up in the other movies, it's always good too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I remember it's Gal Gadot. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
It's
and
you.
then she tries to act, and you're like, oh. PSN went down over the weekend for like almost a whole day, almost 24 hours. I don't know, did any of you guys get hit by this?
Rookie numbers.
Yeah.
Rookie numbers.
Yeah, they used to go down for a month back when we were a real country.
Yeah.
Apparently, maybe similar reasons. The report I saw was like they did this as a precautionary measure because they were breached. There was a security breach. Now they said nothing was taken. Again, like this, I think there's still like some stuff to be shared about this. But either way, they were down for quite some time. A lot of people could not play their games, especially anything they own digitally. And yeah, it came back up online around Sunday sometime, right? Or was it Friday to Saturday? Either way, it was down for almost 24 hours. Yeah, okay, so it was Friday to Saturday, from like one evening to the next evening. They might extend some stuff like that Monster Hunter beta, specifically because of this. They're going to give people 5 extra days of PlayStation Plus if you have PlayStation Plus, that sort of thing. So they had to make good here, but this was like one of the bigger outages we've had in quite some time. Both Xbox Live and PSN have been relatively stable for the last couple of years, so this one caused a lot of headaches. Finally, another classic Resident Evil game has been rated for current gen consoles. I think we talked about Resident Evil 6 last time. This time,
Right.
Resident Evil 5 has been rated for Xbox Series X and S by the ESRB, suggesting a potential remaster or some big re-release or something like that. 5 and 6 could easily show up at that state of play tomorrow, right?
Right. And
Are you thinking full remake?
Not
full
Like,
remake.
Okay.
These are just kind of remasters is maybe even generous kind
Yes,
of
exactly.
ports. And they've already been ported. Like they're already playable on Xbox.
I mean,
Live, PlayStation
I
4.
played all of RE5 co-op like 2 or 3 years ago online
Yes.
with Kayla. Yeah.
Correct. And so, like, whatever these are, it'll be very minor, like just maybe native versions for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Why they're doing that, who knows? Maybe it's just something like, oh, yeah, we'll just make sure that this is good to go, has a few extra features, maybe. And really, this is just to set up, hey, this is stuff we're doing with Resident Evil while we wait for, here's Resident Evil 9 or something like that,
Right.
that they could for shoot announce tomorrow.
And then, like, in terms of the remake, I think, gosh, it changes every time there's a report, but the latest rumor is Resident Evil 0 now is the one that's going to be remade next. Before that was Code Veronica. Before that, people were saying 5. So,
Yep.
Never played
Give me-
0.
Me neither.
It's
I
fine.
want to. I still want to.
That's the train one, right?
It's
Yeah.
a train one.
With the
We
two
had to
protagonists.
switch between them, and Rebecca's there with a guy with tattoos.
It's a cookies and cream.
It's
It's
a
a
cookies
cookie,
and
yes.
cream like.
By train.
Delicious.
Yeah, I think a remake of 0 would be awesome because I bet they would make
Yeah.
that game very good this time.
Right, because like people have some complaints about it, so you can make it better.
I'm done with the news. Done with the headlines.
What?
Back to you, Jan.
Wow. Well, Jeff Grubb, we're going to go maybe read some emails after this breaky break.
Can tu mirada, la noche tú y yo.
I got this fire burning in me from within. Concentrated thoughts on who I used to be. I'm shedding skin. Every day a new version of me, a third of me demented, cemented in pain, juggling the pros and cons of fame. I don't know how to make friends. I'm a lonely soul. I recollect this isolation. I was 4 years old. Truth be told, I've been battling myself, trying to navigate the real and fake. Cynical about the judgment day. I did past life progression last year and it fucked me up. Reincarnated on this earth for 100 plus. Body after body, lesson after lesson. Let's take it back to Michigan in 1947. My father kicked me out the house cause I wouldn't listen to him. I didn't care about his influence, only loved what I was doing. Gifted as a musician, I played guitar on the grand level. The most talented where I'm from, but I had to rebel. And so I'm I'm off in the sunset, searching for my place in the world. With my guitar up on my hip, that's the story unfurl. I found myself with a pocket full of money and a whole lot of respect. While the record business love me, I was head of rhythm and blues. The women that fell to their feet, so many to choose. But I manipulated power as I lied to the masses. Died with my money, gluttony was too attractive. Reincarnated. Another life it placed me as a black woman in the chillin' circuit. Seductive vocalist as the promoter hit the curtains. My voice was angelic straight from heaven. The crowd sobbed.
Emails. Bombcast at giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. You can write in about any and everything. Whether you got a question, you come up with a fun game, or you want to perhaps rank the staff members on different criteria. We love and appreciate all of your emails.
Spirit score.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Which apparently is, you guys think it's better if it's higher. I guess I get it. Like, we associate.
Score.
If you are an actual, like a shoot reverend, a shoot monk, shoot priest, your email about our spirit score will be ranked higher in our system. So
Right.
Yes. So, we allow any type of email to hit the Bombcast email inbox. So why did no one send an email this week? What the heck?
yeah, we're this is an official call for emails. Oh, look, a Carmen Sandiego review code.
Shit.
Okay.
Oh God, I'd like.
Does
to
it come
play
with does it come with an encyclopedia?
I don't know.
Red
Comes
hat
with that
and like
music
trench
group.
coat.
It's Rockapella. Was that the name of the
Man, the word Britannica,
Britannica?
Britannica, and maybe this is just a very white thing of me, a very Western
not.
coded
Mike,
thing.
be
But
careful.
I'm like, that's a very important sounding word. Right? Britannica. Holy shit.
Encyclopedia Britannica, of
I'm
course.
like, this has to be the most important book ever.
The Bombcast email is how I found out that former OSU head coach Jim Tressel has been appointed lieutenant governor of my state.
Actually, yes. So I've had to do a lot of culling of the Bombcast email address, and this is just going to invite more batshit things to it. But we can go down the line of newsletters if we want to go do that real quick.
I met Jim Tressel. He was dean at YSU, where I'm an alumni for a long time. That was his gig there after coaching Ohio State University for a good while there.
Watch Time Magazine sent an update. We can go buy these old watches. There's a lot of 500 Patek Philippe Ellipse watches available. Also, Hasbro Pulse Transformers Hearts of Steel toys available soon. Wow, that one Transformer is a train and
Who
a
signed us up
robot.
for Cleveland.com because it wasn't me.
No, someone keeps signing us up for that because
I
I've
don't have
unsubscribed
access.
for it. Samsung, you can switch up and save, get up to $1,000 in total savings. Wow! Oh my gosh! Thank you for sending us that email. A President's Day sale, I think, is coming up. If you want to buy a mattress, buy flowers for your loved ones, guys. Voodoo Donuts is gonna have heart-shaped donuts.
I had a meeting for work this week, and I was like, all right, not to sound incredibly single, but is Valentine's Day this week? I'm not sure. got a good laugh.
Yep.
I'm not going to click on this because I don't want to give anyone money, but in this one email newsletter, it just says, put bananas in your garden and just watch. And it's like a life hack. And it's just
like fertilizer, not because they will sprout more bananas.
You
but
know what?
It's good for the
I
soil.
didn't want to ask any questions because me not understanding something is not what the callback.
Yeah.
To
Yep.
yes.
Actually, like, where are the seeds for bananas? Shouldn't they be in the fruit?
Oh,
like in
Mike,
most
you're
of
just
the fruits?
asking ignorant questions.
Mike, they used to be a lot bigger and a lot like rockier,
bred
and that's why it was difficult for us to eat. So they've been like shrunken by science over time. So you don't really see them, but they're like the little black parts in the middle.
I've been doing a lot of avocado stuff lately. I had one this morning, and boy, you talk about just a mighty seed
Pit.
situation in there. That's just like
Yeah.
the most prominent. Like, god damn, this is like half the fucking thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun to get it out there when you like get your like little knife and kind
Knife and
of
you just fling it out.
You know what?
Yeah.
You do that, and then everything about avocados are great. If you get one that's ready to go, it's fun getting the pit out. It's fun cutting it in half, and then when you do the little like crisscross tic tac toe thing to like get it all ready to scoop out with a spoon, you get it in there, you plop it. It's avocados.
Are you using you're using a knife to cut it open?
Yeah.
Okay. People do tend to cut themselves when open avocado, so
I'm
this is for
very
everybody.
careful with
Be
it, and if it's ripe enough, like this morning, I just use the butter knife, the same one I use to spread it on the toast. Yeah. That's good. And seriously, I last night I made salmon, potatoes, and asparagus, and it was all great. But I still can't get over this fucking potato stuff. It is so. I used butter for the first time, and holy shit! I used a bunch of thyme.
Thyme's very good with potatoes.
Wait, no,
you should get some rosemary next time.
No.
I've done the rosemary
Grubb,
thing. I've done
we're going
Casey
past
Joe's
it.
fry seasoning. Like holy shit, potatoes kick
first
ass.
time.
No, Grubb, we're not gonna do it.
No.
We're not gonna do
For
it.
the first time.
I literally looked up. Well, here's the deal. I read, so I find out what you need to cook them at what temperature, and then I just have a note in my phone. So I always look like, potatoes, 400 degrees for 30 minutes or whatever. But I decided to look up a different recipe last night because I wanted to make it with the asparagus. So I looked up specifically potatoes and asparagus recipe, and that was the one that threw in the little butter hack. And I did the butter
hack.
and
Turns out the hack-
my god,
Yeah, the butter hack is the hack for all foods, by the way, to make
for
them taste
everything.
better.
Also,
It
what's the
turns
deal?
out.
Speaking of all foods, why is everything, now that I'm doing this all the time, fucking everything is olive oil. You just go nuts with olive oil. It's on the pan, it's in the mixing bowl, you're tossing, you're coating. What is the deal? Like, why is that so? I use it to when I sear the salmon.
Well, because most foods need fat, and olive oil is like one of the few oils that has a pretty actually distinct flavor. That's a little fruitiness. People say a little nuttiness sometimes,
It's also
depending
very
on it.
good for you. Yeah,
That's the thing. It's
pretty
like
good.
it's just like this wondrous food that like it's same with like avocados. Like avocados are delicious and they're good for you.
There's a video from a YouTubesman talking about like you probably haven't had real olive oil. You should watch that because you should try to track down the real stuff, or at least you don't have to get like real Italian olive oil, but you want real olive oil. That really does make a huge
Giada
difference.
De Laurentiis, baby. She has her own brand of olive
you
oil.
go.
You want to get a
okay.
single. You want to get a single origin olive oil, Dan.
Yes.
Okay.
And you're being careful with the potatoes, though, right? Like that's a sometime food, you know.
Why are you saying?
Well, because they've killed people and they'll kill
Well,
them.
no,
kill them
just,
again.
I'm not eating like 20 in a sitting.
Well, I know. I just making sure you don't like think that that's equivalent to eating like a side of vegetables or something.
No, I like to do some potatoes and I'll have some asparagus
That's fine.
or something else like green beans or something. No, I know it's still like it's still better for me than everything I was eating before.
It's better than
it's a starch,
eating
though,
eating potatoes like that is better than eating French fries for sure.
Sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes too.
Oh, sweet
Potatoes are
yeah.
even better for you. Yeah,
Yes,
because all the
absolutely.
carrots in.
I
Very
had potatoes and green beans last night and some olive oil and all that stuff, and I was like, "Hey, I'm having a Dan dinner." So
Yeah.
your associations are changing.
Yeah.
I- I asked Blue Sky because I was
Oh, this thing. Okay.
so like some of my nieces and nephews they'll call you get the grated Parmesan cheese in like the green container and it's very fine. And like the kids in my life would call that sprinkle cheese sometimes. I always thought that was cute. But then I was
cheese, I've heard.
I was at Subway and like the older lady in front of me asked for sprinkle cheese. I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's a regional thing. So I posted it and like that, whatnot asking. And I should have known this was coming, but the amount of people who are just like, that's not even real cheese and it's an insult to Italy and all this stuff. I was just like, oh God.
I think I always thought the Parmesan, like I thought that was the only form of it. Like I only would hear about Parmesan cheese in the shaker, and I didn't realize until like my 30s that like, oh, you can just buy like a block, or
And, like,
shred, grated.
And it's very good when you do it. It tastes good. But see, even it's like, look, guys, I love getting the block and breaking it. Sometimes I like just using the shaker stuff. It's fine.
Shaker stuff's
Calm
awesome. I go
down.
nuts with it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Pizzas. Yeah.
I had perhaps one of the best meals of my life while I was down in LA. I had oxtail meatballs, and then the piece de resistance was tempura fried squash blossoms filled with ricotta.
Oh,
was like,
that sounds pretty good.
That sounds fancy.
That sounds Italian. I'm all right.
Yeah.
molto
Oh my
bene.
God.
I now can no longer boast a 100% success rate on my Domino's pizza. Speaking of Parmesan that I put on, because Hanson came over for the Super Bowl, and I was like, "Oh, have you tried my special pizza?" And he gave me shit for calling it my special pizza, and I was like,
Sure.
"What?"
It is a weird thing to
he
say.
listens to every video game podcast ever. I would assume he would have heard it. And I tried to explain it. He's like, "Let's get a normal one too." So we got a normal one and the gimmick pizza, and he tried it. He was not blown away, but he doesn't like ranch. He's weirded out by ranch. And that's a critical
Strange.
component
Weirded out
of my
by it.
gimmick pizza. So,
Man, I wish I didn't like ranch.
so it's not 100% anymore. Hanson did
not-
not care for my special pizza.
Also, I
ruined
did
it.
realize that my pasta thing, Antipasta. I love Antipasta. That's
Antipasta.
The
Yeah.
antipasta.
Yeah, exactly. I thought about that as well.
Great. So
That's why I like it.
You like bread, cheese, and lunch meat. Fantastic.
No, like when you get it from
All
Okay,
good.
no, you're right. You got me. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, sometimes there's some pickled peppers or something.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Speaking
There's a lot
of
of
pickled
peppers.
what is this shit, this magic thing that I didn't know existed? Now, I'm having a lot of sandwiches for lunch. I'm getting a lot of turkey sandwiches, and I have the murder bread.
is he
The
gonna
murder
say?
bread is really good. So I get murder bread, turkey, lettuce.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What's,
Yeah.
what's murder bread?
It's that company where it's murderers that make your bread, and it's like they're
Wait,
in like
Killer
Oregon.
Dave's?
That's it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's murder bread to.
Is this like that red wine company, 13 Crimes or whatever? What are you talking about?
Oh, the Snoop Dogg thing. I just call it murder bread. So it's murder bread, turkey, a
It's got
couple
a
of
lot of
slices of
protein.
cheese. But then there's this gimmick thing that Bonk bought, and it's like Giardelli peppers. They're like tiny.
Argentina?
I think it's got a real tang to it, and they are really tiny little peppers and like
been
a
pickled.
greenish sauce type thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the flavor is
It's a
fantastic
very
on that.
Chicago
When shit brines,
thing.
do you know what's
Oh.
happening there, Dan?
What?
Bacteria. Yeah.
Jardinera.
Yep. Yeah. You put when you pickle stuff, when you put it in a brine, you're letting the bacteria kind of ferment, which doesn't
Like,
always mean turning to
you don't-
alcohol.
Dan, you don't like when food's fermented, right? That's
I don't
the
like
issue.
bacteria. I don't like
Yeah.
fermenting. I
You
don't
know
like
what's
pickling.
fermented?
Bacteria is what makes it taste good.
You know what's
He knows.
really
He
fermented?
knows. He knows.
You know what's so fermented all
He
the
already
time?
knows.
Bread! Bread!
That's wheat, brother.
Wheat! And
Bacteria.
water, and then sugars, and it ferments, and that's
Sorry,
how it gets
that's
gassy.
not
That's what
not
yeast,
penetrating.
yeast is
Gassy.
alive. Yeah.
That's
Yeast
not
is alive.
penetrating. No.
Sorry, I needed to get
Yeah.
that out of my system. Oh my god, I'm just gonna get into the baking scene and become main event Jan baker, and then just go yeast.
That's good.
All right.
We did
folks.
get one email from Avocado Stuff. Who says, "When did you use butter for the first time?"
Oh well, visible butter was my 30s.
What?
So here's the deal. I don't like spreads. I don't like ketchup, mustard, anything. I didn't like ranch, all that stuff. I didn't try that shit until like college for the most part. A lot of it I still haven't had. So I wouldn't eat visible bread. So if I got a roll at Thanksgiving, because the only time I would have like real food as a child was at like Thanksgiving, we'd go to my grandma's place and she would have a whole like spread of stuff. And I would just get a roll with no butter because the butter looked crazy to me. But I was having macaroni and cheese like 80 times a week. And I would ask that my mom, I could tell that like when she would use a ton of butter, it tasted better. So I would like double the butter in macaroni and cheese because it tasted so fucking good. But you couldn't see because it was all kind of like, in this amorphous cheese pasta bowl thing,
Yeah, you want your food to be amorphous.
Yes. And so I would not try butter if I could see it. Like I've never had butter on corn on the cob or anything like that.
You've had
and then-
popcorn?
Yes, and melted butter is fantastic. Like movie theater, I would fill half the fucking bucket with the AMC butter. I remember I was probably in my 30s when I tried butter on bread for the first time. And I was like, this is fucking great. What do you like? This is incredible.
you
This makes
expecting?
bread so much less dry, so much more flavorful. Yeah.
They're really onto something with that whole bread and butter thing.
Yeah,
huh?
no, so now I'm fine with I like butter across
When did
the
you
board.
guys first have visible
invisible.
butter?
Yeah.
Dan, I think you should try avocado oil.
Yeah.
I've had that.
Oh, that's just a very good
I've used that
neutral
to
oil.
cook with and stuff. Yeah. Canola oil, avocado oil, all that stuff. Yeah.
You want to use if you're going to like cook something in oil for a while and at high temperatures, that's when you want to use avocado oil instead of olive oil, because olive oil can burn. Avocado oil not very likely to burn.
I have learned that as I use it to sear
You
chicken
go.
and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah. And then
look
I
at you
pat
go.
down the meat, so it's not all from the sous vide bag. Normally, if it has water in it, it fucking explodes all over you.
Oh, that's
So
why
I
you got a
pat
vacuum
it down. Use definitely.
Pat down your meat. just like you do at a rainforest cafe, folks. And that's going to do it.
Up in a rainforest cafe.
There was a follow-up from Avocado Stuff says brining's not fermentation. No, but it causes fermentation. Like, yeah, that's fermented vegetables. That's what like all that stuff is. Kimchi, I've been eating a lot of it.
I don't
Good.
like kimchi because
Good.
I heard
It's
it was
very
pickled.
good for you. Oh my
Well,
god.
what that thing you're just talking about is pickled.
Yes.
The
I don't know what you're
Chicago
talking about, but no, it's not.
thing. The thing you just said
Yeah,
is
remember-
delicious and a food hack that you love. I can't never say it. Jordania or whatever. Jordania. Yeah, whatever. The stuff with the pickled carrots and
Giada de
peppers
Laurentiis.
and everything. Yeah,
Great.
that's definitely pickled.
Not the one I
folks,
have.
If you want to, oh my gosh, if you want to start sending in emails, please send them in. If we don't read at least 3 to 4 emails a week, Mike Minotti does not get paid. We
That's true.
withhold his paycheck.
Oh, that's a good
It's
point.
in the paperwork. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
And
I'm not
also,
getting paid.
Was there
I'm not
actual
getting-
paperwork, or was this like territory wrestling handshake agreement?
It was
Wait,
barely a handshake.
I'm not
'cause,
getting
you know, he's
paid
a
for this right now.
nope. And
remote.
I hope he didn't. I know what he did, but
Yeah.
very, very good bit, Mike. Folks, bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. For the rest of this week, Game S Mornings popping off, right, Grubb?
That's right. We'll be back in action. Looking forward to it.
We will be talking over the state of play popping off tomorrow. There will be a voicemail dump truck. We'll have a very special BCR later this week. We'll talk about some games. Perhaps we may stream some games as well. But also, folks, get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn and your visible butter out, because tomorrow is a new season of Blight Club.
Oh shit.
You will get paid for that. Don't worry, Mike.
The beginning of the Blightning round, in
That's
which
right.
all of our games are. Among us, we seemed confused by the amount.
Definitely.
I feel like you guys had said 2 episodes, 4 hours max, and I think.
Yeah.
It was like that was like supposed to be like a very outer possibility,
Yeah.
but that's fine. Yes,
and I
we'll
feel like
live.
our picks are within that. I feel actually Minotti's is the shortest.
Yours is
Jeff
the
seems to
shortest.
think the opposite,
Mine's the shortest?
potentially.
well-
Here's the thing, Mike. I don't want to say too much, but the How Long to Beat is very short on it. But
Yeah, because
I've tried to beat this game.
It's probably some bullshit puzzle game or really hard platformer that they know how to beat. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
I-
see.
It's
Same for
different.
Dan's. Dan's is like I think the how long to beat might be like 15 minutes or something like that, but I don't think it's going to take.
I
him
will
that long.
say, I know Jeff wasn't shoot hot. The few times in my life I was worried he was maybe shoot hot was when he was like, "How long is my Blightning round game?" In our Discord.
Well, because it's like I'm like, oh my god, mine's is going to be like 5 times longer, and it's going to be that thing again. But
No.
now it's this point. I'm like, who cares? Whatever.
Then later you were like, "Actually, Mike, yours is gonna maybe take longer to beat
Yeah.
than mine."
Yeah,
Well,
Mike's is going to be
it's a roll of the
fascinating.
dice. Yeah.
Well, Mike's is going to be fascinating because it's one that I specifically have tried to figure out and play many times, and really came up short. So I want to
Wow.
I want to see this thing through.
Steph came downstairs yesterday. She's like, make him play Home Improvement. Like she's in on this.
Oh,
now.
for the one where you shoot the staple gun at the
Yeah, the nail gun,
Velociraptors.
yeah.
yeah.
You would dress me up as Al,
Al
right?
Portland, of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
we would dress you up as the guy behind the fence.
Yeah,
So you
no,
have to
okay,
play
let's
the
get
entire-
Wilson.
the entire
Wilson.
time.
in front of him. Yeah.
Make
Me and
him
Steph have this
Wilson.
conversation.
Oh, that'd be
be
really good.
so
Just
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, that is good.
Like, yeah, we could put a JPEG over you, but no.
yeah. Do
No.
a shoot thing.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna build fences.
Oh,
He has to make the fences.
that's so good.
Oh, okay. All right. Folks, that about does it this week for this week's Giant Bomb Cast. Thank you for joining us. You've been lovely. I hope no one writes a series of diss tracks dedicated to you. But maybe if they do, you might deserve it. Perhaps. Also, be a better friend than Goku. All right? Go visit your friends. Okay? He's been Mike. He's been Dan. He's been Grubb. I've been Jan. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Giant Bomb Cast.
Hey, jacked off in a rainforest cafe.